And so, how do you leave a room full of idiots in suspense? We leave you waiting for us to go live. No, we're the idiots.
Oh, we're live.
Yeah, because we were just yapping and talking about everything we're going to yap and talk about on the show when we could have been yapping and talking about it on the live stream. So, in any case, welcome to Talking Crit. I am Eric Tenkar. Stage right is none other than Bad Mike, my once-a-week work spouse. And below us, just because that's where I can move him around if you want me to, folks.
No, don't move him around.
Is none other than Gary Oliver, the main man behind North Texas RPG Con.
That's not true, but okay.
Well, where did I go? I disappeared.
We need to fact check that.
He went from not even there to half to now he controls the whole thing.
I didn't take control.
It's like a Russian coup. You're gonna start wiping me out of the pictures now.
Wait, Mike, you're the face. He's the brain. Okay.
Well, okay, I'll go with that.
You're the mouth.
That's a closer fact check, but okay.
You're the mouth. He's the organization.
Okay, that's good.
He's more organized than the two of us combined.
Oh God, yes.
I have notes.
He has notes. I have yet to use notes on any of my videos or live streams. So, folks, you're in for a treat. We really do hope you enjoy this, especially when we go out into the weeds after we get the main parts covered.
I'm going to throw a couple of things out. First of all, I finished off this bottle of Jack tonight, so it's going to get crazy about an hour in when it starts working its way through my fat to actually get to my brain cells. It's going to be really, really rough. But I want to say that I've been watching Eric's stuff, and I'm really jealous because Eric's subscriptions jumped. He's been having all these guerrilla type broadcasts that bring in like 8 million listeners, and I was mad I wasn't part of it. One of the reasons I wasn't part of it, for those that know, I'm actually a stockholder of Frog Eye Games, and we had a kind of a don't talk about things online until we get stuff figured out. So I was really not supposed to talk about anything.
I did all the talking.
If you know me, I love to talk all the time. I talk over Eric. I talk over Gary. So it was tough, but I got the okay tonight to talk about certain things. There's some stuff I can't talk about.
No.
There's all kinds of stuff behind the scenes going on right now, as you guys probably know, having to do with the OGL. This is going to be the biggest story of the year in gaming by far, and it already hit us in January. It's going to be crazy.
Wizards of the Coast has already taken 2023 this year and stupid. They've already secured it. Now we're just looking for runners up for the rest of the year.
Yeah.
Nobody's going to top this.
They win.
They win.
They won.
Just hand your cards in.
January 11th, they won, Eric. January 11th, they won this. Nobody could do anything stupider their whole year. I don't know what you couldn't. It's impossible. So that they've won. You're right. We're just looking for the runner-up all year. We'll be talking about run-ups. We're not going to do a show every year about WotC every week because they win it every week. I mean, it's nuts.
I mean, this one is literally an ongoing fiasco because we've now gotten to the point where they can no longer go, oh, that leak is fake. Because they left it up too long for it to be fake.
They haven't said a word in a week. No, it's not. It's not fake.
They said a word. They said yesterday, and we hear your questions. Answers are coming soon.
I am not 100% certain that was a member of WotC. I think that was a beleaguered person who was just on the Twitter and said, "Oh my God, I'm just getting hammered like a grease spot here. I've just got to say something." And I bet you they were reprimanded for that. I bet you they posted that and they said, "You're not supposed to say anything." Well, yeah, but I had to say, no, you're not supposed to say anything. But I had to say something. No, you didn't. You didn't have to say anything.
We don't hear their questions. They're insignificant.
We don't care about those people. That's not important.
They're fleas.
They're all leaving. They're going to leave anyway once we get this down. So,
all right.
Wait. Eric's done a great job this week. I just want to say, look at his past 3 or 4 videos have been awesome. He has done a great job this week of telling you about all the issues, how people stand on it. His opinion is pretty much lockstep with my opinion on all this. Although I think Eric leans a little more towards. I lean a little bit more towards organization. He leans a little bit more towards chaoticness because I think that they did this absolutely on purpose and they want to clear the deck. Eric thinks there's a lot of this is stupidity. And...
No, Mike, you missed the one when I said this is their scorched earth policy right now. They're doing the scorched earth because this is the fallow year. This is the year between editions. It's going to be a down year anyway because I mentioned this, and I'll mention this quick before we give Gary the floor. But when we had when we had 5th edition, we had 15 months for an SRD. Mm-hmm. They gave us the basic rules because they thought the gamers didn't really care about an SRD and an OGL. They wanted free rules to play the game. So we're going to give you the baby rules to play the game, and then you can shut up and leave us alone about asking for an OGL. And people didn't shut up, and in 15 months later, we get an OGL. For 6th edition, or whatever 1D&D is, 15 months before it releases, we get the new OGL, and it takes our feet away.
Well, not only that, you remember the fallow year between 4th and 5th edition?
Oh my God!
Do you remember what they released that year? They released those really nice gold book reprints.
Oh yeah,
of the S series and the A series,
and the players
because
stuff.
It was a mea culpa, and we're sorry to the old schoolers. Because they didn't release any new 4th. I don't think they released. They might release a few 4th edition things that year, very few. Just something they had in the pipeline they had to get rid of. But that was a year where really not a lot happened, except that they tried to kiss ass on the old schoolers and bring them back in the fold. And then they also, and people were spreading the rumor that, hey, 5th edition is not like 4th or 3rd edition. It's much kinder to old schoolers, which it was. It's. I mean, I've read a lot of 5th edition stuff. It's much easier to convert in the fly than 3rd, 3.5, or 4. So this is the same kind of thing, except this is taking a sinister turn. It's not that we're trying to kiss ass a lot of the old scores. It's like, yeah, we kind of want all those guys out of the hobby and to leave us alone.
They explain to you why they want you out of the hobby. Because, listen, old school gamers aren't giving them any money, right? They don't care about us. They want to monetize D&D. We are not part of that monetization. So money that we're spending on old school gaming should be going to them. And if they're the only game left in town, they figure they're going to get it. And if they can have a year of burning away the grognards and listen, anybody playing 5th edition before 2020, when they started saying that orcs are no longer evil, is somebody. If you didn't go along with that change, they don't want to keep you. So
if you're asking questions about anything, they really don't want to keep you.
Yeah, pretty much.
Look, they can make enough money off the casual fan that doesn't know any of this is going on. There's a lot of people out there that don't know any of this is going on. And it reminds me of like in the 80s when all the brouhaha happened with Gary and I was playing D&D in Texas with my friends. We didn't know what happened. We had no clue. We didn't know. We didn't go to conventions. We just knew that all of a sudden Gary didn't work for TSR. That's weird, but they kept putting out material. So, I mean, we didn't know. It wasn't until years later in the internet that we found out what actually happened. Well, this is a lot of the same thing with your casual gamer that just watches streamers and plays it, whatever. They don't know this is going on. This happens so quickly, and it's moving toward a denouncement so fast. They have no clue. And so that's who they're counting on, that they want the money from the clueless, just person who walks in. This is why this is also, look, this is not a mistake or coincidence that the movie's coming out this year. Yeah. They just announced a Paramount D&D TV show. This is to clear the deck because they're going to try to Marvelize this thing. Yeah. Marvel Comics, when the Marvel movies started coming out, they were making so much money. They told the comic book people, we don't care what you do with the comic books. And the comic books, they just went in the toilet. They used to sell, a good comic book would sell a couple 100,000 copies a month.
Right.
Their rates are down to, a great copy sells like 30,000 because they don't care about the comics anymore. They're making so much money off the movies.
Hey, Mike,
yes,
we need to pick this up because Barsh is going to make my phone go dead with all the text messages about. I want to hear about North Texas. My phone's going to go dead.
All right.
So we're going to talk about. We'll get back to this.
We'll come back to this. Yeah.
Right. We'll come back to this.
But he keeps blowing up my phone. Tell them to shut up.
We have a transition.
Hey, Barsh. Was this your bottle? I drank it. So
he did.
Up,
he said he can't. Yeah. Never leave things in the fridge again.
No, you don't. All
right. So St. Cuthbert wants to know, how will the new ODO affect North Texas RPG Con?
Oh, yes. we just talked about that before we went on.
Yeah, we did.
We just talked about it.
So Mike, why don't you make that announcement?
So first of all, game wise, it's not really going to have any effect on most anything. Remember, when you go to conventions, if you have OGL product that is illegal by WotC standards, you can sell it all you want. We don't care. You can sell that stuff, but you can sell it anyway. It doesn't matter. But we have decided that we are not going to allow 1D&D at the convention starting next year. It will not be. You cannot register those game for 1D&D, the system.
I will not approve games.
We started out as an old school convention. One of the things that Doug and I did at the very beginning was say, try to use pre-2000 rule systems. We relented and we included Pathfinder and 3E, and then eventually 5E because everybody liked 5E, so we included it. But we're kind of putting our foot down now. We're going to stop at 2023 when it comes to D&D. Anything post 2023 D&D, which is basically 1D&D, we're not going to allow. You can play it at a table without. If you want to play it by yourself at a table,
it will not be on the official schedule.
Not be on the schedule. We will not schedule any 1D&D games. And Gary and I want to talk about this. I haven't even really thought about this. We may not allow sales of 1D&D because here's the problem. 95% of the people come to our con. We're an old school con. We only have about 500 people every year. We cater to the OSR. We cater to the old school. This is directly impacting their lives. It may put hundreds of people out of work, or at the very least, impact their way of living. And these are our friends. Gary and I, these are our friends. People that we hang out with, that we love, that we talk to, that we game with. And they're being basically stepped on by a multi-billion-dollar corporation. And so we're not going to support that.
People like Barsh, people like Ben Burns, who got back into gaming because Doug asked him to please come to the convention, started his own game company at North Texas, essentially, and built it up. They're affecting those people. And so we're just not going to do it.
Look, and this isn't necessarily a punitive thing. We don't allow Magic the Gathering games either. That's not what our convention is about. And I'll give you another example. Chaosium Con, which started last year, brand new convention up in Michigan, they don't allow non-Chaosium games. They're a Chaosium only, at least for the first year. They only had Chaosium games. You know what, PaizoCon every year, you can only sell Paizo material. They don't allow other material for sale. We're not being any different than the other convention. We're saying this is just not something we want to deal with, and we don't want to support 1D&D, and we're not going to. And so that's how really the only OGL thing we'll have at the convention is don't, if you turn out to be a big 1D&D fan, which I don't see that happening with a lot of the people that we know, just be prepared to play other games when you come to North Texas, which is the way it should be anyway. Like I said, we're an old school oriented con, and we're not gonna support it.
Just remember, with all this OGL talk and with everything else, you can still play BattleTech. Just saying.
There's lots of games that are OGL related. Yes,
just saying.
Can I design my own mechs and publish them?
And the funny thing is, we're going to ban 1D&D. It doesn't. They don't care. It doesn't matter. Nobody at WotC cares. Hasbro doesn't care. We're a tiny little convention, but I really hope that other cons follow suit. And I may start working on Alex Kamer and say, you don't really, because Alex Kamer is bigger than 1D&D at this point. His convention, Gamehole Con, it really is. It's bigger than that. So I'm going to start working on Alex to ban it at his con, and I may see if Luke might try to get rid of it at Gary Con. It's not supportive of the people that come to our con. It's very unsupportive, and why would you support something that's basically trying to put you out of business?
Right.
It makes no sense. And so no, it's one. We're a non-1D&D zone at North Texas. That's the upshot right now. Like I said, I haven't talked to Gary about this yet. We may ban vendors from selling 1D&D material. I haven't thought about it too much yet. We'll see how that works. But
we'll talk.
I don't know very many vendors that do that. Most of our vendors are old school.
It might be a solution without a problem. I think.
Sure.
So
we may just say it and get the backpats for doing it, and then
so here's the only thing I would say. Not that they would, but let's just say Black Blade or Pacer wanted to sell 1D&D. They are our family when it comes to vendors. They have been there every year. I would hate to take money out of their pocket with just a blanket thing.
Yeah,
I'm just playing devil's
in the bathroom along with the drugs,
Right there, you go.
We haven't talked about it. We're gonna
go out to the parking lot where the food trucks are, and you can sell it out there, out of the trunk of a car.
Yeah, that's how. Who did that? That was
hilarious.
When, Amanda's husband. God,
Alex.
I can't remember her name. Alex.
Yeah,
Alex was out there selling out
the
trunk
of his car. That's right.
It was so seedy. It was so seedy.
Yeah, but he had a line.
Wads of cash, and he would open his truck, and there's all this old D&D stuff. People are paying wads, getting wads of cash.
Bar says we're never carrying one D&D, so there you go.
Okay, well there you go. Yeah. So anyway, that's the answer to that question. Yes, we're not allowing it at the con. So we had a bunch of other questions. I thought let's go back and see. I'm trying to go back. God, you guys are so active tonight.
It's just a lot of we hate WotC. We want Gary.
Oh yeah, well
yeah.
Okay.
There you go.
Oh, all right. We hate it too. So yeah, we're with you, brother. Yeah, we're with you.
Solidarity.
No, we hate them too. So the funny thing is we're not a convention. We haven't had to worry about WotC now. Like Gary Con has WotC and Gamehole Con, but they don't care about little conventions like us. We don't have to worry about pissing anybody off at WotC. We may or may not have WotC employees attend our convention, but nobody upper management, no special guests that are WotC.
Right. Nobody in an official capacity.
No. We don't have anything that, so we don't have to worry about hurting their feelings or making them mad at us or whatever. We really don't care what they think. So we're much more aligned at the smaller third party people that are friends. I mean, everybody that has a booth at the con, they're our buddies, and I got a call the other day from Tom Wilson, who is working the last year. He's been working on our special BX module for this year's con. He said, "You want me to continue on with this OGL stuff?" I said, "Hell yes, continue. Let's finish it up and get it out the door. It's going to be awesome. It's going to be a sequel to Before the Lost City. It's 64 pages long." It has beautiful artwork in it. I know because I paid for all the artwork out of my pocket. So it's got great. Yes, we're going to go ahead and do it. We'll sell at the con. We don't care. I mean, that's it's fine. It doesn't have, we don't use, first of all, the BX modules that Tom and I did not use OGL anyway. We didn't use OGL. So we have no, the B 2.5 and X 1.5. And this won't have any OGL either. So I said, no, go ahead and finish it. He goes, well, I just didn't know if you wanted me to finish doing it, because I said, no, we don't care. Do it. We're going to sell it at the con. We'll sell it all day long. I don't care. If that's the great thing about selling in person, which was a great thing about cons, is that you get to walk in the dealer's room and see all these people selling stuff. Yep. And look, you sell what you want to sell. I don't care. The WotC police is not going to kick down our door, I don't think. Now, if they do, we have the sheriff's contingent for West Texas. Yes. They could have a shootout with them, maybe. because Kelly Rowe and those guys will, who knows? That might be too
rough. I've had my experience with those corporate enforcers, but it goes back to 25, 30 years ago when HBO was over the air in New York, and you had to have a microwave antenna to pick it up, and you had to rent it from HBO.
Oh, yeah.
Or you bought it through mail order. So there might have been an HBO compatible microwave antenna on my roof, and HBO put up the helicopter to survey, and then matched addresses. And I'm coming back from picking up bagels one Saturday morning. There's a guy with HBO security on my.
Oh God!
And he's like, "Do you live here?" I go, "Yeah." "Are you the owner?" I went, "Oh, thank God, no."
Nope, just renting.
Here. You've been served.
I'm the HBO police.
Basically, was you had to remove the antenna or start paying for the service. So it took about 15 minutes to remove the antenna and place it in the attic, facing the same direction, out a window, and continued with the service until they stopped the.
They just didn't want to see you stealing it. As long as you didn't get to see it. Yeah.
But maybe WotC will be the same. Just get it out of sight. We don't want to know.
To make it very North Texas centric, much like the hotel staff, just keep the alcohol where they can't see it. That's the key.
Yep.
So otherwise, you get busted like I did.
Yeah, somebody screwed up last year and did that. And
hey,
what's going on?
You can't
Gary,
and a half.
We have that problem fixed this year. Pacesetter Games is sponsoring a room where the BattleTech game will be.
Nice.
So,
thank you, Bill. Thank you, Bill Barsh and company there. Yes. Let's talk about. So we've got some questions here. Let's answer those, then we'll go into general stuff. When do the North Texas shirts become available?
North Texas shirts become available probably 1st of February. So currently, as of today, we have 200 attendees, 50 or 52 are guests, special guests, and staff. So 150, So
no wonder Con makes no money. Okay, this is making sense.
Exactly.
Now.
Well, I still gotta get my 2 badges.
But we have 58 game submissions already. So I saw one question saying, when did the $5 tickets start? The $5 tickets are going to start either February 1st or when I get 100 game submissions, whichever one happens first. I am sending text messages to regular attendees that I know, come every year, and saying, hey, I don't see your badge yet. Are you, to get people to get some games submitted. You brought up Kelly Rowe. He got his crew to finally sign up, whatever. He's going to try to get his game submissions in this week. So I'm trying to get people to get their games in earlier because this year I am cutting off game submissions on April 1st so that Pacesetter can print the programs.
Oh, okay.
That's pretty early, Gary. I don't know.
Well,
that's really early, man.
Dude, it's 3 months. It's 90 days. It's 80 days from today. I mean,
I think Gary Connor's still taking them today, and they're 2 months.
Well, last year we took them up until May 1st, but I don't know. We'll see.
Tax day. Come on, April 15th.
We might be able to massage it a little bit, but we'll see. But Gary's right. And Gary is always errs on the side of let's get it done, and so that's good. We want to err on the side of we want to get this done.
Yeah, because one of the things. So, for example, the new logo is in. I don't know if I can share.
It's great. Yeah, James Shields did it again this year. He did last year's awesome logo. The one this year is just as great. James is just an incredible.
There's no way for me to share it though. Oh well. Anyway, it looks really good.
Pocket Jack says he want to know when you can sign up. You can sign up now. You can enter games up now.
Yep.
Vendor signups, that is going to be so our vendor signups has always been based on seniority. We support people who supported us in the old days. So Gary has to sort through all those first.
Well, and so vendor sign up releases haven't been done yet. I was going to try to get that done this week. And so, but to your point, once I release that, the 12 or so senior vendors are going to get their first pick. And then I've got about 6 others who've already submitted a request. So I'll just have to, everybody gets in order of seniority. But those will probably be, I would say, if not this weekend, first of next week. And then the $5 tickets, Tammy, the way that works is if there's I'll give you an example. In my BattleTech game, there's room for 8 people. The first 4 seats, or the first half of all available seats in any event, go on sale when I release it. So February 1st, or when I get to 100 games, for $5. And so you can pay your $5 to basically reserve your right to get into that game. But only half the seats are quote reservable. On April 15th, when we go live for open registration, all the games will be at $0, and you can sign up for free for the remaining seats.
Gary,
that's how that works.
I don't think we ever talked about this. Are we still going to is April 15th still the day? You don't want to switch to 14th or 16th? You want to do it on 15th tax day?
Okay, we can move it back a day. I mean, we conceded on the midnight thing. I went with 7:00 Central or whatever. I mean,
yeah, that was probably the most complained about stuff in the history of our time.
You say that,
midnight.
You say that, and then I got 11 emails about, well, I'm gonna be, I don't get off work till whenever, or I've got to get kids to soccer. Okay, so
somebody always has an issue.
Yeah,
right. You're right. Yeah, somebody always
has an issue. Whatever. midnight is. I hate to stay up that late, and that's fine. I'll give them that. But anyway. So
we'll look at it. We'll see. But
I'm going to try.
I know.
The
15th is traditional. That's our traditional day. We have had complaints over the years because, yes, we know it's tax day, obviously.
Yeah, but
if you
don't
still
have them done by then,
taxes,
file
if you're
extension.
Still working on your taxes, come on,
you have to sign one form to go for an extension. So just go on, and I can make those forms available to people because I do have an accounting degree. So
yeah, that shouldn't be an issue. Really.
I mean,
come on, people.
Yeah, that's not real. That's not a real argument. But anyway, whatever. But I am encouraging people to go ahead and get game submissions in. I've got links to tabletop on our Facebook page. We have on our website, NTRPGcon.com, you've got links to make the hotel reservations. The tabletop link is there. All the links are built into that website, plus all the special guests are listed there. And so, but gamer, I get that a lot on Facebook. When the games are open now, you can submit away. And
you do have to be signed up, though. You have to be signed up.
You have to have a badge. You do have to have a badge.
Yeah, to sign up for games, and we've already got quite a few games. And
58.
Yeah, and look. Let's say, I just want to say everything that's going on this year. Oh, go ahead, Gary.
No, I was going to say, Mike, I do have 9 game submissions that I need to talk to you about because they don't look like they fit within the scope of.
Okay, this sounds like fun. Okay,
so that's an off screen. We'll talk about.
Are these adult type games? Maybe?
No, it's just game systems I've never heard of.
Okay,
so
we'll talk about that. Yeah.
Okay.
We just like to. So Gary, the reason Gary's bringing this up is one of the things that Doug and I always did is we wanted to promote RPGs, and we had a pretty strict rule that Gary and I have relaxed the last few years over games like Warhammer and BattleTech a little bit. We didn't want our con to turn into Warhammer Con or whatever. So, but it hasn't, so it's okay. But still, we don't really allow card games. If you're a special guest, you can do anything. Special guests allowed to.
Special guests can run whatever they want. Staff members can run whatever they want. So
yeah, Janelle Jaquays wants to do a Hero Quest game this year. I told her it sounds great. Cool. She bought the Hero Quest, the last Kickstarter. She has all the pieces.
Got a badge.
She hasn't played it.
Submit it.
Yeah, so she's talking about she wants to submit a Hero Quest game, which is fine.
We have like already out of the 58 submissions, I think we got like 9 or 10 Call of Cthulhu games already.
That's great. Yeah, we have a huge Call of Cthulhu.
It's amazing.
Contingent. We have a huge Call of Cthulhu contingent at the con, so. That's going to be really interesting because Call of Cthulhu, once again, that's not an OGL game too, which is cool. They're laughing right now because they're like, "Hey, we use the basic role playing system. We're fine, man. We don't have any problems at all." So,
Barsh just submitted his Starfleet Battles primer.
There you go.
Oh no, he took it out. He canceled.
So TXG. Okay, there's supposed to talk for small game publishers. Can you attend the talk for your one? Yeah, of course. Anybody can attend seminars. Yeah.
Yes, and the seminars So there's a small publisher seminar. There's a couple of podcasts. There's one set of podcasts that happen that they're doing every morning in the convention for like 30 people.
Very cool.
I'll put all of those in the auditorium. There'll be plenty of seats. You can have at it. So.
And I think Greg Gillespie wanted to do a Mega Dungeon seminar. I don't know if he submitted it yet, but
yes, he did. He did. I saw it.
That's really cool. So our seminars, you don't have to have tickets. Now when you register,
you have to sign up.
Right.
Put it in
because we want to know how many people are going to be there. Because if we have a seminar that has 100 people, we're like, oh, we got to move this to a bigger room. I mean, it wouldn't have 100 people, but you see what I'm saying is we have to know pretty much how many people are coming to seminars just so we can plan accordingly when it comes to logistics. So, and then plus it also gauges interest too. I mean, if a seminar has one person signed up, we may have to cancel the seminar because it's not worth doing. But as you said, if it's a seminar like the small publisher seminar might be absolutely packed this year. We have, it may be standing room only for all we know, because it's going to be a very, integral subject this year. So, that's so anyway. Yeah, when you sign up, it'll ask you. You don't have to have tickets or anything. And hell, if you're in the hallway, you can walk in by. You can walk in and go to a seminar. There's no attendance issues or anything with that. Just go to the seminar if you want to.
Send for Bill. I'll fix that for you.
What else questions do we have here?
So the $5 tickets, like I said, either 100 games or February 1st. Those will go on sale, and then shirt sales. So one of the other things I'm trying to do with the merchandise, shirts, things like room sponsorships and so on and so forth. I'm trying to do all of that off of tabletop, but if we're running into too many problems with that, I may just put it back on tabletop. But within the next week, a lot of that's going to be coming up. I have already spoken to the server. So Jessica and the team, they're going to have 3 servers this year because I have a feeling we're going to get really close to 500. And with just the 2 of them, they were a little overwhelmed. I have all 9 slots of the shirt sponsorships available, but I've already got 4 sold. Wow. So, I mean, those go. Those go really fast.
People love to have their logos
on. Yeah, exactly.
Serving girls, because they are seen a lot, because they're seen all over the con.
And Doc Ben, I'm sorry, that's 5, because he told me he wants to do another BattleTech themed shirt for the girls on Friday night.
That's great. The girls do a great job, Jamie and Jessica. Jessica's been with us a long time now. Jamie came on a few years ago, and they're just amazing. They're family now. They're family. They're absolutely part of the North Texas family at this point.
And the new girl is who to be named. I don't know what her name is yet, but they're gonna have 3 this year. So.
Good deal. Yeah, we probably need that, because they were pretty overwhelmed last year. We were busy. And we didn't have close to 500 people. We were still very busy last year. It felt like more people.
461.
Yeah, it felt like more than that though. I kept thinking we were around 500.
461 with walk-ups. We had 461.
Yeah.
So
I have a feeling this year we're going to hit 500 with everything going on.
I do too.
I've always said, look, this OGL thing, this is good. This is good for old school gamers. I mean, it's not good for publishers, but it's good for gamers, because you're going to see more people that are disgusted with WotC and 5e and 1DD move to old school. I think it's good for conventions, because people are now realizing COVID's going away. Yes, we still have COVID. We still have problems with it, but it's getting better. It's getting better. People are more apt. I mean, let's put it this way. This year we've got Jeff D and Mander coming to the convention finally after 2 years.
Yep.
We'll see Jeff D. They're really excited about getting back to the convention. That's awesome. I talked to Dennis Sestair. He would love to come. For those who don't know, he has an immunocompromised wife. He cannot. They're in their 80s. They cannot get sick.
Yeah.
And so he has been very careful the last 2 years, but he has said he will be there if he can. If the COVID rates are low, he's going to try to be there. So I think people that have been scared to get out are going to finally show up to the con.
And TXG saying wishes Tim could come. Tim is not traveling much anymore.
No,
if he can't drive, he's not. His kids don't live in Texas anymore. And so
he told us this last year was the last year, which is cool. I mean, that's. I mean, Tim had a great run. He was at every one of our conventions except for the COVID year. And we love Tim, and he's in our Hall of Honor. But yeah, he's look. A lot of these old guys are getting too old to travel. I mean, Jim Ward can't travel anymore. I mean, some of these guys can't travel. That's why. First of all, number one, you need to come and see these guys when you can. Come see the Jeff D's, the Steve Winters, the guys like that. You need to come and see them now. The Darlenes, they might not be at conventions in the next 10 years. There's a good chance they will not be attending conventions, in 10 years. And then, number two is that they if they don't travel, and that you don't get to hear the stories. The stories are the best part of these guys, is going up there and just talking to these guys and hearing the inside scoops of one of the coolest things that I ever did was the first year of the convention, Dennis Sestair and Janelle Jaquez, who had used to work together at Coleco. Dennis was Janelle's boss. They had not seen each other in like over probably 20 years. And so they sat at a table and talked for about 2 hours about science fiction, about movies, whatever. And me and like 2 other people just kind of sat there real quiet and listened to them talk. And it was amazing. I mean, just because they went over everything that they've been doing in the last 20 years. And they're 2 fascinating people anyway. And that's the kind of thing that's cool, is you get to hear these stories now from the people who are actually telling the stories. And, you're not going to have that luxury in 10 years or so.
Well, one of the things I have done this year is I have created basically a welcome pack for special guests. And because in the last year in particular, there was some confusion about special guests and so for example, I had several special guests that didn't know that their badge would get them food off the food trucks for free. And I'm like,
I didn't even know that. That's great. That's awesome.
And I'm like, okay, things you should know. So I have a little welcome pack now that says, thank you for being a special guest. Here's what you're entitled to. Here's what you're expected to do. Because Zeb Cook also last year didn't realize what was hilarious was he submitted games, but didn't realize he was supposed to run games. And
he didn't bring the games he submitted.
Right.
He didn't bring him. So he was just sitting there and,
he had to borrow books. We got the books off of the memorial table for Doug, so he could use those.
Bill Webb gave him a pep talk and said, "You can do this, Dave. I know you can do it. Come on, Zeb. You know what He's like, I don't think I can do this. He's going, Zeb, you've been doing this 30 years or whatever. You can do this. And he's like, yeah, I guess I can. I can do this.
So free food, Barsh, but also, and this is all about Bill Barsh right here. This one right here.
God,
the hotel is all on board this year. I've already had several conversations with them.
God.
Bill Barsh will be so glad to know that the breakfast buffet is back.
Woohoo!
It is a special Barsh concession in the contract.
The Bill Barsh the Bill Barsh codicil in the contract. There will be a breakfast buffet.
So
Keelan says free food. Yes, Wonky, free food. You get free food at the truck. This deal keeps getting better for these guys. Yeah, I know.
Yes.
I know. We're too nice to you guys. We're really too nice. Far too nice.
The other thing that I am and also as a side note, over Christmas, Lisa and I were supposed to go to North Dakota, and that fell apart. But the night before, we stayed at the hotel there at the Westin because we were going to be right there by the airport, and we had an early flight. So we ate dinner there. The food is really good. The restaurant food is really good. The other thing that I am working on is food trucks. Now, I have G's Brunch Truck, which is Gina. She's been doing this for like 4 or 5 years for us. She is awesome, and her food is always good, and everybody loves her. So she's coming back, that's for sure. The Crown Catering people with the burger truck and whatever, none of those trucks anybody had anything good to say about last year. So I'm thinking about not even calling them back. But by popular demand, I am working on 2 different barbecue trucks.
Ooh.
Yes. And I found, now, if there's any interest in either one of these, I will look into it. But for example, I found here in Rockwall, there's a catfish truck.
I love cat. Oh, yeah, dude. Yeah.
Yes. See, I thought I have LOL in my notes because I thought nobody would think that was cool.
Dude, fried cat. That's great. There's nothing better than fried cat.
Okay,
dude.
There's also in Fate.
Consider that.
Well, in Fate, there's also a crawfish truck.
I think they would do pretty good, Gary. I think you'd be surprised. So the liquor store across the street from my house, and I will say, I'll be 60 years old.
Barbecue battle.
The best thing that ever happened was they built a liquor store across the street from my house. For the first time in years, I only have to basically go 1 minute to get booze. But they have every Wednesday they have a lobster truck out in the parking lot. You think lobster? It's packed every Wednesday. I finally went last month. My wife and I, we had lobster bisque, lobster tacos, and they had tater tots with cheese and lobster. They were freaking delicious. So. The lobster truck, anything like that, I would do a crawfish truck. I would do a catfish truck. I think
I have officially reached out to 2 of the barbecue trucks, and I'll go ahead and reach out to these other 2. But anyway, that's in the works too. I'm trying to get all that lined out so that we have coverage for food. Now, the other thing I'm going to try to do is some of these food truck options. They all seem to be great for morning and lunch, but they don't seem to want to stay for dinner. I'm going to try to talk some of these folks into doing the noon to midnight or noon to 10 type shift at night, because I think they'll clean up. But
I think so too. And so for those who have been to the con or don't remember that there's no place to eat around there. There's a Denny's across the street. It's shaky. Okay. So it's not one of the better Denny's. It's an okay Denny's. Okay. And there's a restaurant at the hotel that can be expensive. It's pretty pricey. About a mile and a half away, there is a huge little area where there's all these restaurants. There's tons of restaurants. It's not really walkable in June. You would. No. I know Bill Barsh has walked it.
I know he says it's 2 miles, but it's 2 miles and 100 degrees, and that's not fun.
And there's no shuttle at the hotel. There's no free shuttle. Now you can usually catch a ride with somebody, so there are places to eat nearby. So the food trucks are great because if you don't want to eat at the hotel, which, like I said, I admit is expensive.
Okay, but the hotel's going to do do so it's not the $10 options, it's a $12 option this year, but they're going to have a whole menu specifically for us of $12 options.
Good deal. Okay. That's great.
So the brisket burger thing and the pizza,
very good.
Their food's very good. Yeah, the food's very good.
It is, but I'm just telling you, she has not submitted the official menu to me yet, but they will have 8 to 10 $12 options, she said.
Nice. Okay.
So
Denny's give me no, well, yeah. That's not a okay. So there's good Denny's and there's bad Denny's. This is
the CDC wouldn't even.
Bad Denny's.
The CDC wouldn't go to that Denny's.
No, it's not a good Denny's. It's not. There's good and bad Denny's, good and bad IHOPs. This is not a good Denny's. No, it's not a bad Denny's. I've been into really bad Denny's.
On a scale of 1 to 10, come on, 3. Yeah, there you go. Okay, I'm just saying.
It could maybe a 4 if it was. But
my wife wouldn't go in the parking lot of that Denny's. I'm telling you right now.
I don't blame her. Yeah.
Oh, by the way, my wife said she's probably going to grace us with her presence at the convention on Friday and Saturday.
Is she going to bring her? Is she bringing her boyfriend Carl?
Oh God, yes, she's bringing Carl. I have real concerns about Carl.
You should. This is getting creepy. It's getting weird. It's getting creepy. So she adopted the skeleton we had last year that somebody left behind, and we named it Carl because it had Carl Heil's name
badge on. Yeah,
name badge, and so they adopted. So his wife, Lisa, adopted Carl and became, how should I say it, unusually attached to Carl and started bringing him on vacations and to trips.
Ranger games and to go get pizza. And I mean, just, getting a little makes me. She took him to Long Con. She took Carl to Long Con and worked the pace setter booth with him. Really? What? Of course, I have no room to talk. I worked the registration table at Long Con.
Well, because those guys
purely by accident. Purely by accident. I'm sitting there talking to Sean, and we're just talking, and people come up, and I'm like, "Yeah, what's your name?" I'm just like, "Yeah, I had a bad habit." It's like I start looking for their badges and stuff.
Well, but just the Long Con guys. I mean, come on now. We've been doing this longer than them, and we try to bring the guys along and help them out, mentor them. They don't always listen to us, but look, they do okay. But by the way, so we haven't had. I don't know when last time we had on the show. You attended Long Con last year.
I did.
And this is
I did,
and I couldn't. I was on my annual vacation.
Right.
I went the year before, but
I was the rep for North Texas at Long Con this year.
So how did things turn out? Tell us about it. Was it good?
Long Con was fantastic. They do a great job. This new hotel that they are using is fantastic. The space is much more concentrated. It's better organized. I mean, it's not kind of here, there, and everywhere.
Good.
And they had a conference room that they called the Doug Ray Memorial Room that they had,
awesome,
which is where Robert ran Chariots, and the best line of the entire convention was uttered. So we're in there with 14 people playing Chariots, drinking. John Lyle had a Black Label Johnny Walker bottle that he basically drank at the table. He got so lit up, these words came out of his mouth. "Shh, y'all, hush, I can't see what's going on."
So basically they both felt at the same time, his eyes and his ears.
Exactly. So I was like, okay, wow. But we had a great time. I'm
very disappointed. I saw pictures of my brother there in a Speedo. I don't know.
Whoa.
Okay, so I will confess that I was co-opted to be the photographer for that fiasco. So
you coerced.
Yes. So let's just put it this way: there were threats made about, So it's not like I'm ever going to be a Supreme Court justice anyway. But I mean, it's just.
I saw the pic of he and Bill Barsh playing a game together, and I don't know what Bill is too refined a human being to put up with that shit. I don't know what he was thinking. But
okay, but let me tell you. So I played in Barsh's D&D tournament that he ran at Long Con, which is what he always does at North Texas.
Right.
It was just the first annual, and I had never done it at North Texas with him. I'm going to tell you what, That is fun. That is a neat take on D&D. It's like, for lack of a better term, it's like speed D&D. What are you doing? Go. What are you doing?
Bill's been doing these tournaments for 10 years at least at North Texas, probably longer. And they're great. And I because tournament play is different than regular play, isn't it, Gary? I mean, it's because you got objectives, you got to do it now.
It's a treasure grab, and it's funny because you'll pass people, and he says it doesn't matter what they're doing. You can't help them anyway. It's not part of so you can't stop and fight their monster. So a lot of times you can kite other monsters into their space and screw them up and stuff like that. But I mean, it's just a money grab. But it was hilarious. I had never done it. It was fun. It was really fun. So the other thing we did at LongCon was we did North Texas Friday Night Battletech at LongCon.
Oh my God, that's dangerous.
Yeah, that was actually the problem was the map was too small. It ended pretty quickly, and also 2 of the guys had really lucky hits that took the 2 strongest mechs off the board in like round 2. So anyway, we still got pretty lit up though. So
I'm gonna. I went 2 years ago. I skipped this last year. I'm gonna try to make it this year. I'm trying to make it every other year. It happens right in the middle of our annual convention, but I will tell you, the whole time I was in Sal Padre, I'm glad I did. Okay, so I'm glad I didn't go. The reason being is because that weekend was beautiful, and the week after it rained for 8 straight days, like monsoon rain. Like we couldn't go outside that rain. So I'm glad I went then, because if I'd have gone to LongCon, I'd have missed 4 days of sunshine, which there wasn't a whole lot in November. But I think I'm going to come next year. I'm going to figure out a way. Either we're going to start our vacation a week late, or I'm going to do like I did the year before and fly in, but we'll see. But all I could think about was you guys the whole time. I was so pissed I was missing it. And I was looking at the pictures. And Bill was there, and my brother, and you, and just everybody that I know was there. And I was just so pissed to miss it.
Well, it was fun. They did a great job. We had a good time. Friday Night Battletech ended early, but it was still fun. The chariot race was really fun too. It was great. And John Lyle's wife went, and my wife went, and they hung out together the whole time. So they had a great time. So
yeah, well, it's good to get the women folk out the door. That's a good deal.
Yeah.
Oh, did I say that out loud? Unless they're Rachel and they want to play in the games, actually.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
But I had to. The other thing that was really kind of cool. So Barsh flew in to DFW. I picked him up, and so we actually drove him to LongCon, so he didn't have to rent a car. That was fun. We had 2 hours of conversation, 2.5 whatever.
That's kind of what we did. So the year before Zach flew into town, we did the same thing, Gary. I picked up Zach at the airport, and we drove there, and Zach attended. So maybe if I go next year, I'd get Zach to come too, and that would be great. We
there you go.
To come again.
Yeah.
But yeah, for those of you, if you're anywhere around Texas, even Louisiana, Arkansas, whatever, try to get to LongCon.
It's really fun.
It is really fun.
Really fun.
They're the closest thing to North Texas you get without being in North Texas, because they've told us before they use us as their guide. They looked at North Texas, say what's great about North Texas. We want to bring that to our con, and so we really appreciate Matt and Eddie. And they'll by the way, special guests at our con this year. I'm sure they'll be running lots of mutant. They love Mutant Crawl Classics. We'll be seeing Mutant Crawl Classics.
Matt's already got 6 games submitted. Eddie's got 2 or 3. Yeah,
he's a machine.
He's a machine. But the other thing too is. So, and I'm just throwing this out here because I'm telling people that his games are fun to be in. I had never played DCC. Went on that Wisconsin trip with Matt and Eddie and me and Doug and Charlie and Sylph and Brian Stanley, and we all went up to Wisconsin in that round trip deal or whatever, and I had never played. We stayed up all night one night playing DCC. Matt runs a great game. He really does.
He's part of that whole MCC guild or whatever they call. I don't know what they call them, the road crew or whatever. So these guys are professional MCC people, man. They run this all the time. He is very good at it. And he does a great job. Me and Carl Class. So. But by the way, since we're talking about, let's go over our special guest list, Gary. Yeah. And Eric, you could chime in too. And I will tell you,
I know the spec. Well, I know
I know you know, but we're gonna make you chime in anyway. And I'll tell you that this is our list here. We had a couple of last minute revisions, and we still have there's 3 names that are still. We'll see. We're on the wait and see. Okay, they're all big names, so we're gonna see what happens to those 3. But for right now, this is our list. It's I'm gonna.
Are you reading it or am I reading it?
I'll read it. I'll read
Go
it.
ahead. All right.
So first we have Ben Barsh and Bill Barsh, the father-son duo. We have talked this years, and Doug and I talked about it before Gary and I did, and Gary and I talked about it. We would like to get younger in our special guests because, as we said before, these older guys are getting older. They're not able to go to cons. We want to continue gaming beyond, what our lifetimes, really, when you think about it. And we had two younger people we invited this year, Ben Barsh and Keelan Halverson, who's also known as Wonky, who's a great artist.
And I want to interrupt just for a second. And the most grateful person I have ever seen about being.
Yes.
He lit up my message thing. Thank you. And I'm like, hey, we're just glad to have you. But he was really thankful.
Yeah, they're both great kids. I call them kids, and they're not kids; they're in their 20s. But this is they're the future of the hobby. They're the future of this hobby.
Sure.
We need to get.
Did you read Ben's? Did you read Ben's comment thing that he sent us? He was floored.
Yes. Well, I told him while we were at Gamehole Con, and I swear the guy almost cried. He was just he couldn't believe it because he loves North Texas and. His dad's been a special guest before, and it just was, you could tell it really hit him. And he was absolutely, oh my gosh, I can't believe this. So we got Ben and Bill Barsh, and we got Keelan Halverson. Let's see, we have, now we have a lot of returning people, but I did mix it up a little bit this year because we can't, and I told some people that were special guests last year were disappointed. We can't have the same special guests every year. We have to mix it up a little bit. We just for fun. So, but returning, we have Christopher Clark. Chris Clark's awesome.
He runs really cool games too.
Yes,
yes, he does.
Levi Combs, who, God, the guy is putting out something every week. I swear, he's got a Kickstarter. And so,
and he is a really nice guy. Fun. I mean, he's nice. And very, again, got a really nice email from him or message from him.
And not only, I'll tell you something that I always love about Levi. He was one of the few people that came from out of town during the COVID year, and I really respected that. He really wanted to come that year because he suspected that might be Doug's last year, and it turned out it was. And I have been really thankful that he showed up that year. That was really cool because not very many people. And look, we encouraged people not to show up that year. We told them don't show up, and
we still had 85.
We did pretty good. So. Yes, and so then Zeb Cook will be back. Hopefully, he'll remember his game this time.
I have a packet for him, so yeah.
Darlene will be back. Obviously, we love to see Darlene there. This is from Jeff D, Amanda. Now they haven't been able to make it the last couple years due to reasons, but I was assured by both of them they will be here this year, and they are excited about coming, and they can't wait to come. So. It's good to have them back because they run some fun games. Jeff usually runs Villains and Vigilantes, which is that still the name of it now, or did he change the name? I can't remember what it's called.
That's what he's still calling it.
I think it's called Mighty Protectors now. I think it's called the Mighty Protectors. But he runs a great superhero game. People love to play it. Amanda runs some stuff too, and they're like I said, they haven't been there for 2 years, so it's good to have them back. We're having them back, which is great. Alyssa Fab was not able to make last year's con due to reasons. She has assured us she will be here this year. She's really excited about coming. She's a great cartographer that we've had in the show before. She hopefully will make it there this year because she wasn't able to make it last year. She had something come up the last minute, if I remember, Gary. I can't remember what it was. But
it was
she had to cancel really late. Yeah. Matt Finch will be there this year. Now, Matt lives in Texas now.
Yep.
He moved, so he's just going to drive up. So he's going to be there. Rocky and Ian are going to be there. Rocky Gardner and Ian McCarty, who Silver Belay Games, who, by the way, they're one of the small publishers that are going to be very much affected by this OGL bullshit. Look, Gary and I are going to tell you this, and Eric's going to tell you this too. In the next week or so, you need to purchase stuff from these guys because it may not be on sale after Friday. I'm absolutely serious about this. They may pull it. Drive Through RPG may have to pull it. You need to support these guys with your dollars. These third-party
100%.
And Ian and Rocky have been putting out great material for the last few years, and so definitely look at Silver Belay Games. They just came out with a release what was it called? Oh, Eric, the mole, the something mole.
Oh God, I got it nearby too.
Yes.
And I don't
go to drive-through, look for Silver Boule, and it will be there.
Yeah, and folks, listen, I already know there's people talking about, oh, if it's a GoFundMe to fight, the revoking of the 1.0, I'm million. No, you want to support these companies. You want to put money in their pockets. They're coming out with bundles every day. There's probably new bundles coming out. There was a fuck Wizards of the Coast bundle that got pulled because apparently you can't.
Oh, that's weird.
I guess the relationship with drive-through and Wizards of the Coast is a little bit too tight to have somebody have a fuck Wizards of the Coast bundle, but it was out there.
I think they're coming out with a non-OGL bundle or something. I think
a bundle of holding has
bundle holding. Frog God Games, Bill Webb has stated, please buy our stuff because we are not running a GoFundMe right now, but we need the money for future activities. Let's just put it there, and I'm not going to say anymore. But yes, buy some Frog God stuff if you can, because we're going to need the money in the year to come. Because
another small publisher that's in with Ian and all them is Skeeter, and I want to say just one thing. I actually called him this week because of his medical thing, and I really like Skeeter. He and his wife have been nothing but nice to me, and but I'm really excited that he's coming.
And they're a big part of our con, and Skeeter will be a special guest. And yeah, Skeeter, he had a heart attack. I mean, there's no soft selling it. He was very much like my brother in that just one day he didn't feel right, and he was having a heart attack. And like my brother, he got to the hospital in time, and he was blocked up on a lot of his arteries. They put some stents in, and hopefully he'll look. I'll tell you one thing: is goofball as my brother Robert is. Once he got the stents in, we'll play D&D over here at the warehouse, Gary, and we're all like, okay, what are we going to have for lunch? Pizza? And he has his little bag of carrots and celery and his little special thing, his special meal of just goofball
hummus
health shit. Oh God, yeah, hummus and healthy stuff. And he's been really good at taking care of himself. Doesn't drink anymore, won't drink. And he's just been really good about it, and hopefully Skeeter will follow the same path. And Skeeter is much more health oriented. My brother is anyway, so Skeeter should be able to hopefully improve in the next few months. And I don't think it'll have any problem with him being at the con. And I can't wait to see Skeeter. Greg Gillespie will be there. Mega Dungeon Man. By the way, speaking of Greg, he has 4 Mega Dungeons, and each one has a monster section in the back. Now, what sucks about I love everything about Greg's Mega Dungeons except the fact that he will refer to a monster and say, oh, this monster's description's in Barrel Maze. I'm like, I don't have Barrel Maze. I'm running Highfell right now. Right. I don't have these other books nearby. So he took all the monsters out of the backs of all his books and made a giant monster companion out of it. He worked on this for months and months only to have this OGL shit happen, and he might not be able to sell the book after Friday. So he put it on sale today. I ordered 2 copies. I went and ordered 2 copies to support him. They're $35 for PDF and hardcover. I don't know how much the PDF by itself is. If you like old school monsters, it is great. It can be used for any old school game. They're BX oriented, the descriptions, but it can be used for any old school game. You'll be helping a small publisher. And this might only be available for 3 days. This might be a collectible item in a few years. If the OGL cracks down on Friday and takes it off, you may have only had a chance to buy this today, tomorrow, and Friday, and that's it.
And I mean, so the joke that this stuff is like print on demand, and Noble Knight at one point was selling some print on demand stuff at collectible prices. This is going to be the time when those print on demand books might literally become like, if you want to get White Star, now's your opportunity.
Well, you know who pulled their stuff the other day was White Hack. The White Hack pulled all their stuff off of OGL. Off drive-through. Yeah, we'll have to have a show on that sometime, Eric. All the stuff that suddenly became collectible that wasn't collectible a year ago that's collectible now. But yeah, support Greg and his work. Now Greg's one of the few third-party guys. He is a professor at a university in Canada. He's probably not going to suffer financially, but he is an extremely creative guy, and he loves doing this. And this, I can tell, this really pisses him off what's going on, because he has 2 more mega dungeons planned in his mega dungeon, his 6 mega dungeons he had planned. He's got 2 more, and he's going to have to rework all that shit now, because he was already started working on number 5. He finished Dwaro Deep, working number 5. Now he's going to have to see what comes in the future before he does his next 2 mega dungeons. So definitely go out and buy his monster book, but he'll be there. I bet I have a feeling he'll be running Dwaro Deep, probably Barrel Maze. He likes to run Barrel Maze at cons. I bet he might run Barrel Maze also. So Greg will be there. Alan Hammock will be back. Our buddy Alan. We love Alan. Rebecca and Janelle will be there. Rebecca Heineman, who is one of the, so this is funny. So Janelle and Rebecca are an item together, and it's just funny because I didn't know who Rebecca Heineman was before the Janelle and she hooked up. She's one of the most important names in video gaming ever. She's in the Video Game Hall of Fame, which I did not know they even existed. But she created and did some of the most incredible video games of the 80s. And of course, we all know who Janelle is. And Janelle is working on her central casting. She's redoing her central casting books and is not affected by the OGL she posted the other day, so it's still going to come out this year. And hopefully she'll have copies at the con. Hopefully central casting will be done. Central casting was a way for you to roll up a unique background for your character. And this book's like this thick, and you go from page, it tells you if you roll here, go to this page. I mean, you will come up with the most customizable character you've ever seen in your life, her central casting book. So I look forward to seeing the central casting books. Diesel LaForce will be there with his wife. Diesel's great. By the way, we need to check with Diesel and the sculpts. Gary, this is my weekly reminder of we need to do that.
I sent him an email yesterday.
Yeah. Diesel did the latest sculpts on our Gladiator trophy. It's awesome. Our
Chariot trophy
and is incredible.
The new 3 Castle.
The new 3 Castles award, which I'm sure Ben Burns will be excited to see because we owe him 2 now.
Yeah.
So Ben will be happy. The new 3 Castles award trophy will be.
I'm gonna get some popsicle sticks and glue them together. And
here you go, Ben. We got tired of you winning the same.
I tell you, the next one that's on the list that I'm excited about, Bill Meinhardt. He's a special guest.
Yes, so Bill,
he is just the nicest guy. The first time I ever met him was at the registration table, and I said, Mr. Meinhardt, here's your stuff. And he goes, "Don't call me that."
Well, so Bill, for those who don't know, he is probably one of the top 5 collectors of D&D, not top 10, one of the top 5 collectors of D&D material in the world. Not just the United States, whatever in the world. His collection is ridiculous. Not only does he have multiple copies of some of the best stuff ever, he makes it a point to buy copies that belong to famous people. Like, for instance, he has 15 brown boxes, but they're not just brown boxes. They're Tim Cass brown boxes. They're Brian Boom's brown boxes. These are famous people that he has their stuff. They have their names in it. He's got a collection that's basically they should make a museum of it someday, which I'm hoping he plans on after he passes someday. But he asked, so he was a guest a few years ago. He came and brought some of his like super rare stuff that you'll never see. I mean, expensive stuff. He drove it down because it was so rare he couldn't afford to have it packed. And he did a little presentation. This is before we moved to the new place. It's been many years. So he asked me last year, he said, "Do you ever think about doing that again?" And he says, "The reason is I would like my son to see that I was a special guest at a con." I said, Bill, if you can make it down, yes, definitely. We would love to have you do another presentation, especially now that we're a little bigger, because we had this back in the old Marriott. And yes, if you want to bring down some stuff and be able to show off some of the most incredible stuff he has. I mean, we're talking about stuff that they're unique items, or items there's only like 3 copies in the world or 10 copies. He's got all that stuff. So yes, he's going to come down there. He's going to put on a seminar, show off, ego boost, whatever you want to call it. He's going to show his kick-ass stuff. So definitely that is, and like Gary said, he's just the nicest guy too. He really is. He's very unassuming for somebody who has such an incredible collection, and his knowledge is second to none. And so we're going to have him a special guest. He's going to show off all his goodies. Lloyd's going to be back this year. He's not bringing the Dragon Wagon. He's just coming himself. He's
Thank
not going to
God.
drive the Dragon Wagon down. No, he's coming. And by the way, he just finished a Kickstarter too, I believe. Now, okay, this guy here, I love this guy. Stefan Percorni is coming in. And I'll tell you what's so great about Stefan, because he is just the coolest dude. Because so last year, the year after Doug passed.
Is it going to be a musical interlude here?
No, he's going to tell the story about the private room that the hotel made him go to,
which is great, actually.
So anyway, so when he goes to cons, he loves 70s metal, and so he usually goes to the main room. He has a boombox. He cranks it up. Everybody bitches because he's playing this music loud.
Because he was playing it in the next to the bar,
right?
And so the hotel lady came over and said, We'll move him to this little room right next to the bar if you'll please ask him to. So I had to go there and say, and so what I did was I presented it like a prize. I said, "Hey, Stefan, look, we got a room for you, man."
He was so excited.
He was so excited.
Daddy, thank you for the room.
Oh my God,
Daddy.
I got my own room. And so he's just the most upbeat, cool guy, the Dwarven Forge dude, for those who don't know. And such a nice guy. I'll tell you, I'll pull the curtain back a little bit. So after Doug, he and Doug must have had the greatest conversations on phone because they're both two bombastic individuals. Because after Doug passed, I asked him if he'd like to come to the con, and he said, "I'll come, but I don't want you guys to pay for anything. I'll just come, and I'm just going to come there and set me up front." So this year, I asked him again. I said, "Look, I know you paid for everything last year. You don't have to do that this year." He goes, "No. I want to pay my own way there." And I said, "We'll have." So we set him up. He's got this big giant conference room right next to his room, so he can go ahead and set up all his kick-ass Dwarven Forge stuff. He has parties in this room. He's just the coolest dude. We
give him his own. We give him his own conference room so he can set up all his stuff. And it's funny because he just loves it. He thinks it's like we gave him a gold brick. He just thinks it's the coolest thing ever. But it from a logistics standpoint, it makes perfect sense. With all his stuff going on, he needs his own room.
Yeah, he does. And so yeah, he's gonna. And so that's great. He's a fun guy. He goes to conventions to have fun, and he has a great time there. So yeah, we got him again. So next thing on this is so this year, we invited James Raggi, and the reason is because Eric, you guys had him on the show this year.
Yep.
Which I thought was pretty cool.
On the Friday show, the Random Party Generator.
He talked for about 3 hours, and I thought everything he had to say was so freaking interesting. Because this is a guy who started his own publishing company and did everything against which you say you should do. He did everything, quote unquote, wrong. And yet he puts out some of the best looking third-party stuff you'll ever see in your life. Just amazingly, the artwork, it's weird fiction. It's weird, dark gaming stuff. And he's an American that lives in Finland, and he's into heavy metal, and he makes really weird videos, but he's just an interesting dude. And I love when you guys talked to him, I was fascinated by the whole conversation. I just thought it was really interesting. I liked the way he was very honest, and he didn't try to hide anything or say.
And he's in chat, so it sounds like you're talking him up to butter his biscuits.
No, I didn't know he's just talking.
Oh, had it on the screen.
There he is.
I had it on the screen.
I didn't know he was in here.
This paid advertisement for James.
But one of the things I thought about, it's a pity that the only con he comes to the United States is Gen Con. And Gen Con sucks, okay? It fucking sucks. I went to Gen Con back in 2008. It was great. 30,000 people. We had a great time. It's 60,000 people. It's a cluster F.
We are so much
ridiculous.
Better.
And so I just thought, it would be great to have James at a small con where he could talk to people, not have to man a booth with a bunch of people, because Gen Con it's just ridiculous now. And that's the only con he comes to the United States. I said, he needs to come to another con. He needs to talk. We have some huge Lamentations friends in the North Texas area. I'm talking people that own everything. The John Lyles, the Steve Gettys, they own everything ever put out by Lamentations. And that's hard because some of the Lamentations stuff is very low print run stuff, very low print. So, and we've had people. So when I announced that we were thinking about having James, I had not one, not two, but 3 people call me and say, how much money do you need?
Yeah.
And said, we will pay for James to come.
I may need their numbers, by the way.
Right. Sean Pointer was one of the people.
Yeah, I know. He actually texted me.
And then Steve Getty also said, let him know too.
Okay.
So because we got to fly this dude in from Finland. So it's, it's not cheap.
And just so we're clear, I've looked at these flights already. So anyway, it's fine. It's all good. I mean, it's not a problem, but I'm just saying.
So I just think it'd be cool. Look, he doesn't go to any other United States conventions. It's great to have him because the guy has some great stories. He's done some great things. I'm not talking about just because he was in the room. I didn't know he was in there.
Yeah, you did.
Michael, for being so organized, I put it up on here.
He had it on the screen.
I didn't see it. I'm looking at my face. I'm looking at my.
And when I put it up, and within 2 minutes, you went to James, and I went. Obviously, he saw it.
No, I'm looking at my face.
He's reading the list off the left, is what he's doing.
My face, and I've lost 10 pounds this January. Looking at my face, I was like, my face is really thin now. I'm not paying attention to what you guys are doing. I'm looking at my beautiful.
He's admiring himself.
Yeah, I am pretty much. And of course, I changed my beard too.
Somebody is.
I'm going for the Sean Pointer beard. He's got that beard.
There you go.
I'm trying to work that. I'm trying to work that too. So yeah, I'm not looking at what you guys are writing. I don't care what you guys are writing. So hopefully we got James coming. Merle Rasmussen, who sent me a very nice note that this is he and Jackie's favorite convention. Now they may say that at every convention they go to. I don't know, but he says this is their favorite convention. Is he going to come this year?
He is another very nice man. Very nice man.
Dr. Scott Robertson, who helped create Bunnies and Burrows. He loves to come because, look, I don't know how many conventions are out there that run Bunnies and Burrows. Probably none. There may be none. We may be the only convention in North America that runs Bunnies and Burrows. But he will run some Bunnies and Burrows games. He's excited about that. And hopefully Dennis will get to show up. And if Dennis shows up...
Okay, so Scott already submitted a Bunnies and Burrows game. I've already approved it.
Good deal. All right.
The next one is James Shields, and I figured out how to do this, Eric. So maybe I figured out I made a PDF of the logo.
Okay.
And it says I can share it. Yep. Yeah. So
that's nice.
That's the new logo for this year that James Shields did.
My God, that is beauteous.
Isn't it awesome?
He's I don't know how you can be underrated. I don't think he's underrated, but he's underrated because he does some really great stuff.
Underappreciated.
Underappreciated.
Yeah, underappreciated.
I'm telling you right now, that is so cool.
Yeah. He does a great job. So James usually, and I think what's cool is James comes with his father usually, which I think is awesome. I wish my father and I could have shared gaming. My dad thought gaming was weird, so he did.
The other thing that he and his dad do, they've taken over the Aliens game. Yes. Because their boards are nicer than mine.
Oh wow, cool.
Yeah.
That's another. Who else we got? Ken Spencer. Ken Spencer, we've had in the show before. He's a very prolific writer for Frog God. I figured last year we had Casey. I mean, look, we can have almost any Frog God guy on any year. I figured to kind of switch him out here and there. Ken's a great guy. He's one of the few people I know that's also an archaeologist and a gamer. But he's very, like I said, he's very prolific, written a ton of stuff. Mike and Liz Stewart, obviously. We love having. They're our buddies. They live up in Denton. We couldn't have them. We'd be embarrassed not to have them special guests at this point because they're great guests too. They come down and they schmooze with everybody. Everybody loves Liz. They tolerate Mike. They tolerate Mike, but they love Liz.
Well, and Mike, I will forever be grateful to Mike and Liz. And it's funny because they always say they're forever grateful to me. I took over the BattleTech game from him, and so I thought it was such a great honor, and he's like, "No, you don't understand. You did me such a favor."
He was only running the BattleTech game because Doug used to have a rule back then. You could only
special
run
guests only,
special guests or original members. And remember, he
yeah.
and Liz have been to every single con, so they would use Mike as their fake guy, and Mike would register the BattleTech game, but he would just have to sit there and hang out because Doug had these really arcane rules that well, if you run a game, you got to be in there, whatever. Gary and I don't care about that as much anymore, but
it was funny because when I took it over, I like went and did thank you so much, and he was like, "No, you don't understand. I'm thanking you." It's like, okay.
So then we have Jeff Talanian, who's great dude. I mean,
he's a neat guy. I had never talked to him before until last year, and we talked for like an hour. He's a really neat guy.
He's very cool, and his whole journey to D&D and stuff is awesome because he used to be a big metal guy in the 80s, and he's just a cool dude. And his game Hyperborea is awesome, and I have no clue, Eric, how the OGL thing is going to do with Hyperborea. I don't know where that comes in on that. I have no clue.
Here, I'm going to just throw this out. I have probably spoken. Listen, Mike and I know a lot of people in the industry. I've made good friends with people in the industry. Rach understands. Like, I have conversations that she sometimes is in a room with because I'm taking these last 5 days, I guess, kicking off from Friday on. I have been in phone calls and Facebook calls and Discord calls, Discord PMs, Facebook PMs with pretty much every creator that I know in this industry, because this is it's a seismic event. It's this is kind of like for our industry, it's almost like what happened to the dinosaurs. Because we're looking at it's going to change everything. Now, it might change everything for the best in the end. But if this goes through, it is going to be a very painful time, especially if Wizards of the Coast does as it looks like they plan on doing, which is giving you no time, not like a 6-month period to clear out stock or 3-month period.
And by the way, that's calculated. I think that's absolutely calculated.
Oh, definitely. Listen, when Gail gave, was it like, what'd she give Troll Lord back then? Like 30 days?
The end of the year. She gave to the end of the year that year. I can't remember when it was, but it was to the end.
It was a limited amount of time.
Yeah.
This is going to be a big FU to the community, not just the creators, not the publishers, anybody who enjoys this work. So, I mean, if you're going to spend money, I'm going to just say it, come out and don't spend it on Wizards of the Coast. Honestly.
No. So Jeff will be there. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Gary.
No, so we got Tom Wilson and Steve Winter both coming.
Okay. So Tom's awesome because Tom, look, this dude gives us free stuff all the time. He's just amazing. And he is he's been working on a sequel to B4. I mentioned before. I think somebody mentioned, how can I get a copy? We should have copies left over. I'm going to try to order enough. We've never sold out of one of these at the con. I don't think we will this year. So after the con, I'll talk about an Eric show, and I can sell you a copy. The money all goes to North Texas to help support the con. Like I said, this is not like our other modules. This is 64 pages. Our other ones, let me see.
Hey, Mark.
Yeah, by the way, Mark, I saw Mark had a really good post about the OGL stuff on his page the other day or today. So this was the first one we did, B2.5. It's a regular size module. This is 24 pages, right? Regular size, blue maps, all the good stuff. Original artwork, blue maps, whatever. This monster that Tom has now is 64 pages. So it's going to be 3 times that, three times that. No, yeah, 6 times. I can't do math. I can't math good. So yes, we will have those available at the con, and we'll be able to sell them after the con. And Steve Winter, I don't know what you say about the guy. He's been to every con we've had except for year 1. Just an amazing guy. He's been talking up the OGL stuff a lot online because he's pissed because it affects his livelihood also. He does a lot of contract work for companies, and I just really upsets him. But Steve's awesome. Runs everything from Boot Hill to Gamma World to D&D. I mean, he can run anything. The dude can run anything.
People love his games.
They do.
People love his games. And then Matt and Eddie, we've talked about ad nauseum tonight.
Yeah. So, and believe me, nauseum. Yeah.
Hey, they both run good games.
They do.
They like that library area, and I try to put them in there. And I've walked by there several times when they're doing games, and just stop to listen. And they do a great job. They really do.
So that right now is our special guest list, and we reserve the right to add another kick-ass name or two as time comes. And the thing with these, you're going to say that is a ton of guests for a small con. Well, let me explain to you something to you. This is something Doug always wanted to do. Doug, I used to lambast Doug, like, why do we have 30 guests when we have 300 people? This doesn't make any sense. But that's just what he wanted to do. He wanted to be different from other cons. He wanted to be a showcase for old school gaming or gaming, and over the years we've had some amazing guests.
Yes, and what I said in this welcome pack that I'm sending the special guest, I said, thank you for being a special guest. I said, just remember, this is on through here. I said, one of the reasons we have so many special guests is so our fans can meet and interact with them in person. For many, meeting you may be a lifelong dream. And that's the case. There are people, Zach has talked about it when he got in the car, and there's 5, got Tim and all. And he's like, holy crap, I got the whole.
We don't have any barriers. We don't have special guest rooms. We don't have any VIG
badges or anything. You can just eat
all
lunch
we ask
with
our guests. We just ask them that they have to be available. That's the only thing we ask them. We always ask, "What do you want me to do? Come to your conventions?" We say, "Please run two games,
and get that in there."
But you have to be available to people because that's the whole point of our con. Is there's no barriers between the special guests and the fans. Because you go to some cons, I won't name names, but I've been in a con when you couldn't. It was really hard to get to the special guests because there's barriers. Unless you're in a special pay for game. Or you're a VIP or a diamond badge member, whatever, you don't see these guys. That they're at the con, but you're never going to see them. That's not what we do at our convention.
So, Tammy, to answer your question, I will announce on Facebook. So the other thing is, I will announce on Facebook 48 hours before I release tickets, because and then I'll make 2 announcements. I'll do 48 hours and 24 hours before, because last year before, I don't remember what it was, people got mad because I released the tickets and didn't announce it, and they were like, they were all gone, and so you'll get 48 hours notice on Facebook. I'll also put it on our website. Yes.
Which, by the way, we actually have a website now due to David Ray. Thank you, David.
Yes.
For about 2 years, we didn't actually have a website because it had expired, and you go to the spot and it said this spot is just hanging out for there's nothing going on here. And David finally cracked down this year, and we actually have it's just a landing site's all it is. It's just a spot where you can go to other stuff. So
it is just a landing site, but it looks really good. He did a great job.
He did a really good job. Yes, and like I said, everything that Gary and I do, look, David's still a big part of this. We run stuff by David all the time, and so he's definitely a big part of this, and he will be there obviously. And
and he's involved to the extent that he wants to be. He wanted to do the website, and he wants to run the charity game and do some other things with the Hall of Honor and things like that were all kind of, for lack of a better term, legacy items that were carried over from his dad. So he wants to be a part of that. So that's what he does.
He's also, so last year we announced our first Hall of Honor inductees. And he's actually working on a really kick-ass Hall of Honor display. This year we'll have some new inductees also, by the way. And these are people who really went above and beyond for the con. I mean, our first year was Tim Kask. These are people that were all in our first year. So Tim Kask, Dennis Sestaire, Janelle Jaquays. I'm missing somebody. Oh, Doug, obviously. Doug Ray. Yeah. Who else am I missing? There's another person that was Tim.
Hang on.
That's why I write this up now. Dennis, Doug.
That's why I wasn't there.
I'm the keeper of the notes here. Let me go find it.
One more person.
Meantime, Epi wants to know if you can have VIP weddings.
Yeah, no.
Depends on who's getting married. I mean, if it's Kardashian, no. But no, actually, Kardashian, yes. We'll have a Kardashian wedding at her.
Really? No. But so, and the other thing too, that I want to say about the special guest list is Mike is generally in charge of the special guest list as far as
oh dear, what's coming? What's coming now? Oh no!
No.
I got stripped.
But I just, but he does. We talk about it and so forth. And as Mike mentioned, there are 3 or 4 special guests that are either verbally committed but not on paper, and a couple big names that we probably won't even announce.
Yeah.
So get your tickets.
We're not going to tease these guys. We're not going to tease them.
Yeah,
if they're not going to show up. But these names,
we don't want to say anything
huge.
because
they're huge names, and so we're not saying anything because until we get an absolute commitment, we're not like one of those cons that announce all these names like, oh, well, then this guy can't show up, this guy can't show up, this guy can't show up.
That's our number one thing is we don't want to make commitments and then have people not show up. And so that's the you know, I really want people to know though that we are working very, very hard. I mean, the list we have is really good. These are big people, but we are working really hard to get to have the convention be the best it can be, and with not just with good guests and everything else, but and that includes, you know, what Mike gives me a hard time about early game submissions is to have a well-oiled machine, to have everything come together and to have stuff, you know, checked off. Food trucks are done, everything's done, and so anyway, we are working very, very hard to make this the best we can make it.
And like I said, and so I'll give you. I'll just throw a name out there. So I talked. Errol Otis has not been to the convention several years due to reasons, stuff going on. I talked to him this year. If he can make it, he will. So he's given us. So basically, that's the kind of name that if you can make it, we'll get you. So because Errol's an awesome dude and he is a legend in the industry, but we just don't know. He doesn't know yet. Until he knows. We don't know. And so we're not going to put him on the list and say, oh, and Errol Otis, oh, wait, he couldn't make it. No, we're just not, until we know these guys are going to make it, we're not going to put them on there. And we have a few names like that, and I'm not going to mention them because some of them are huge. And
no.
Look, okay, let's put it this way. So so Doug cold called Larry Elmore one year. Say, hey, can you come to our con? This is the year we did the ACM print, the one I have right behind me on the wall here. And he had to sign them. So we said, why don't you come to North Texas and sign them? Well, Doug was able to wrangle out of that. He was able to get to Margaret Weiss and Tracy Hickman to come too. Yes, we had Margaret Weiss and Tracy Hickman in our convention one year. We were not allowed to tell anybody because they have what's called a appearance fee. Their appearance fee is $3,000 a piece to appear at a con. Doug got them to waive the appearance fee if we did not advertise they were going to come, because they said, look, we can't say we're going to come and then not charge, and then you don't charge the fee, then other conventions would get mad at us. We understood that. So people that year were amazed to walk in and see not Larry Elmore, but Tracy Hickman and Margaret Weiss at our convention. At the time was probably 300 people. That's the kind of thing that we kind of got going now. We have some people that want to come we're just not going to talk about it. We just won't talk about it until it happens. We're not going to let you know. And we may not, there's some people we may not even
mention at all.
Let's just put it that we're not going to go any further than that. We may not mention them at all. You may just get there and have your socks blown off and be like, what?
It may be another Tracy Hickman type event.
Yeah.
It's all. Yeah. And so, but again, we just want everybody to sign up early, get your games in, because I think this is going to be a fantastic year.
So there's a good question by Luau Lu there, Gary. What games you wish were offered? What time slots really need more entries? So there's certain time slots that always get filled up, and there's certain time slots that seem to not get as many games. I think Friday night's one that always has a lot of games. Saturday night, usually the morning slots are better. If you can schedule a morning game, that's great, because people don't like to get up early in the morning. And so
I tell you what I will do. I will publish a graph that shows the current game submissions with their times so that you can see what times are overpopulated and not. How about that? I'll work on that this week.
But what games were offered? Look, any game. So make sure that it's a game that people would like to play. Yes, I know that people like to run esoteric games sometimes because the only time you get to run these games at a con. But if nobody signs up for your game, you're just taking up a slot. So if you plan something that's just so out there and weird that nobody wants to play it, you're really not helping yourself or the convention by doing that. Now that doesn't mean we want everybody just to schedule one A or one ED&D.
No, we'll do 5E, but just again, try to keep to the vision of the convention, which is old school. And so, and look, I'll be the first to admit, Battletech's right up against the edge. It's an old game, so Doug was okay with it because it's an old game. Doug was also okay with it because I'm a staff member and I can run whatever, But the point was, try to keep it old school, whatever. As I mentioned, we got a lot of Call of Cthulhu games already submitted. That's awesome. People love that. So,
but any game that can fill up is a good game. And that's what Doug always said. If you think you can get a table full of people, go ahead and register whatever game you want, because that's all that matters. Is you get 6 to 8 people to play at your table. That's the big takeaway. But I'm trying to think of games that people always ask for, like Lord of the Ring games. People always want One Ring or Middle Earth games. Those games seem to be hard to run because we just never get enough of them. But if you put a Lord of the Rings game on there, you will fill up your game because people always want to play One Ring or any of those kind of games.
I got one. That the Star Wars RPG game.
Yes, you would fill up your game. People love Star Wars.
Yes, because oh God, really? Total blank.
Well, James Shields ran one.
James Shields runs one, and people fall all over themselves to get into that game.
It's he runs an amazing game. We were in a Star Wars Aliens. I need to say I had to play the fallen drunken Jedi Master because
people fall all over themselves to get in that game.
He's great.
I'll tell you what people ask for a lot that we just don't get enough of is Traveler. People love Traveler, but nobody runs it for some reason. And if you had a Traveler game, especially if you ran an old school first edition Traveler game, fill up your seats. You would fill up every seat.
People fall over themselves for that one too.
That all the time. They always ask for Traveler.
Another one's is pretty popular. Boot Hill.
Boot Hill, but we have, but
people submit that. Yeah.
Alan Hammock usually runs a Boot Hill game, and Steve Winter usually runs a game.
I think he already submitted one.
Yeah, we usually have Boot Hill pretty covered pretty well because, like I said, Steve Winter ran one for years. I think he still does, and then Alan Hammock runs one. So Boot Hill's covered pretty well. Like I said, those are the 3 I can think of most.
Of the 58 we've got submitted, though, we only have 6 right now. 6 old school D&D.
Really?
Wow. So I tell you something else. Star Trek would be a good one too. The Star Trek RPG.
I can see people.
Great.
Yeah.
We have a lot of science fiction fans that come to the con. They don't really get catered to that much. It's more fantasy, but we have a lot of people that come to the con that love to play science fiction RPGs. There's just not a lot of them scheduled. It seems to be people go more old school. Or they go 5e or they go.
You say that, but like I said, we don't. There's only 2 Barsh's tournament, and then there's like 3. There's a BX, 2 BX games.
That's it.
That's so 6 out of 58. There's only 6. There's not even an OD&D.
But you have games like when Greg West runs a game.
That's 7.
That's going to be old school. I mean, they may not use exactly old school rules, but those are any OSR type of games.
That's another one. I'm scrolling through it. That's one. Yep.
I bet Matt Finch is supposed to be there again this year, and I bet
Swords and Wizardry.
I bet he runs the Swords and Wizardry game, and that's old school.
He always does, and he always gets a shirt. So yeah.
By the way, Matt Finch was the other name in our Hall of Honor too. He was one of the 5 names in our original.
Yeah.
Matt Finch has been to every one of our conventions, and he said he's coming back this year, so that's awesome. So he's one of the very few that's been to every one of our conventions. Even guys like Zach or Gary has never been to all of our conventions because
I helped set up for the first one. No, I helped set up for the first one. So, but that was it.
Yeah, but you blew us off to go hunting or something. I don't know what you did.
I went. It was a camping trip with my family. But what was funny was Doug. I always joke with him. He never told me what it was, and I always joked with him. I said, "Dude, if you were because he's like, well, I thought I told you what we were doing. I said, no. I said, you never told me what was going on. I said, if you said, hey, I'm running a dog crap convention, I'd have showed up. I mean,
Well, see, Robert does the same thing to me because Robert didn't show up the first year, and he always blamed. He said, "You didn't even tell me you were doing a convention." I'm like,
right.
I didn't know you'd be interested. I didn't know what you were up to or doing. And then, and so the first couple years, Tim Kask ran the chariots, and apologies to Tim Kask. I love you, man, but everybody hated Tim in front of chariot games. And Robert loved the chariot game. He said, I could do this so much better. And for Robert's credit, he's done a great job of the chariot games over the last few years. But yeah, he didn't come for our first year because he says he wasn't invited, but come on, man. He knew that was going. He knew what was going on. I didn't have to personally hand deliver him an invitation to come. I mean, he could have just popped in there and showed up. So
sure.
So yes, Robert blames us too because we didn't tell him there was a convention going on. So, but anyway, so if anybody has any more questions, you can go ahead and ask us in the chat. We'll probably talk about a little OGL stuff for the next few minutes. But any questions about the con? Oh, by the way, how much is it, Gary? How much is it for a 4-day?
So 4-day pass is $100. Let me go back to the
kids under 12 free.
Kids under 12 are free. Yes, and
nice.
I'm still doing that. You just reach out to me, send me an IM or something because I have to generate a ticket for that. The day rates are $45 a day for Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. Sunday is only $35 if you get a day pass. But $100 for basically 5 days worth of entertainment is pretty cheap. The hotel room rate, like I said, this year is $115. I'm telling you right now, this is a nice hotel.
It is a beautiful hotel.
That's a cheap rate.
That's a steal. These are $150 to $200 a night rooms.
Yep. And if you're looking to, save money, get a roommate. I'm just telling you. I cannot emphasize this enough. For anybody that cares or anybody's going to listen or whatever, staying at the hotel is important for the convention because it helps us. We get a credit based on that. And that convention space, I get a deal on because of the room rate credits. So,
and we understand if you have financial issues and you have to stay across the street or something, we understand that.
I get that.
But if you don't have those issues, not only that, but just staying at the hotel is so much more fun because everything is going on at the hotel. All the stuff is going on there. When you have to leave the hotel and go back to some other hotel, you're missing out on all the stuff that happens there. And there's a lot that happens.
The late night parties, I've got the hotel. I mean, the hotel again. I didn't have to say anything. They even said, we'll have the bar open until 2:15 every night. I was like, all right. And so, I mean, there's so much that happens after everything is done that you are going to miss. And also
it helps support the con. And Gary says,
it does.
Yeah, the room, based on how many rooms we rent out is what kind of discount we get on the other
convention space. Yeah, exactly.
Convention space, yeah.
And the other thing too is the food at the hotel. Again, with the $12 menu option, that helps us out because again, they love to see us. We cover our bar tab. A bar tab alone is worth having us. They make plenty of money on that. But the food trucks, I want to encourage people. I will try to make sure to have food truck options available that people want to have, so they don't leave. Because my food truck vendors require or usually ask for a minimum. Whatever they don't make from sales at the food trucks, I have to make up the difference. So, eat local, stay local. Trust me, that's where the fun. And again, it's easy to run to the parking lot, grab something, and go back in and keep gaming. So
yeah. Like I said, like we said, if you have
any
financial
questions,
difficulties or something, we understand. But you're really doing cons a disservice when you stay at other places because it doesn't help us out, and that's how The whole convention industry is built around room rates or room nights.
Yeah.
How many room nights can you give us? And that's how you calculate everything, your discounts, and that's how we can actually afford to do this, because are we making any money, Gary? I haven't seen any money on my.
Yeah.
I don't think we're making any money doing this. So.
No, we are not making any. We are. This is a break-even proposition. Okay.
At best,
Yeah.
it is.
So,
yeah.
But the I want to thank everybody. Everybody has been very supportive throughout the years, especially the last 2 years. But just know that we are trying very, very hard to make it great, so that you'll want to keep coming back and keep doing this and so on. So, but also keep in mind, if you have any questions, you can direct IM me on Facebook. My email is on the website for Tabletop. You send me an email. I will work with you. We'll do whatever we can to get your problem solved. So
we're very responsive. That's the great thing about having such a smaller convention. There's me and Gary. You don't have to go through any layer of middlemen to get to us. Just ask us directly, and if I don't know the answer, I'll give it to Gary. If Gary doesn't know the answer, he gives it to me. It's really easy to get in touch with us, especially on our Facebook page, North Texas RPG Con Facebook page. And then by the way, we also have our North Texas RPG Con auctions page. If you want to, so a lot of that money, we'll probably have 3 or 4 auctions before the convention have to do with North Texas specific items that money will go straight to the con. So North Texas RPG Con, North Texas RPG Con auctions, check those out on Facebook too.
I want to address Bob G's comment. No sushi trucks.
I would go to a sushi truck. No. I would do a sushi truck. I love sushi.
I like sushi.
Huh?
In that heat?
I'm saying
no. I don't think they put the sushi out in the sun or anything, Eric. I'm pretty sure they don't.
I'm going to make a management decision unless I get overwhelming requests. That's a no. That's a no.
Shame.
Hello?
Yes.
Okay. So, like I said, anybody has any questions, feel free to reach out, please. Do you got all the links I sent you?
I do. I actually got links on the bottom right now going along. Right?
Oh, perfect. Okay. So, yeah, I sent him all the links to our website, the tabletop site, and the hotel registration site.
I'm going to put the hotel registration site as I'm going to put it up right now.
Sean Pointer just tried to call me in group, so I bet it was something about Raggy. So we'll get back to you, Sean. I'll talk to you after the show. I don't know why. Maybe he pushed the wrong button or something, but he tried to call me just now. So we will talk to you after, Sean, and work out something. Because yes, by the way, this is a place to say this too. We have sponsorships available for the con. That money directly helps us. We can't give you a lot for the sponsorship. We can mention your name. We can do whatever. We'll kiss your ass. We'll try to throw you some extra good stuff. But
let's be clear. Some things you do. So room sponsorships, you get a room with anything you want to put up in it. So Pacesetter's got a room where they're going to put their banners up. They're going to host BattleTech. They're going to host his tournament in there.
Yes, we'll try to give you games for your room. If you ask for certain events, we will try to put them in your room.
And Frog God, same thing. They're sponsoring a big room, and they want their games run in there, so that's fine.
And by the way, if you have a room, you don't have to have a vendor spot. You can sell from the room.
You can sell from your room. Do whatever you want.
You have a vendor spot too, but you can sell from your room.
And then, the shirt sponsorships for the girls. You get 3 girls wearing a shirt with your logo on it, walking around for 4 hours. So, I still think we need to auction those off.
Satan's Midnight Auction's all over that. I have. Yeah. Okay. I have some girl-worn shirts from last year that will go into Satan's auction this year.
All right, and I want to say this is another executive decision, and Satan's auction is 100% Mike's purview, except for one thing.
Oh.
We are not having any more Carl instances again. If you buy something in the auction, you have to take it home.
If you buy a skeleton, the skeleton needs to go home with you, because Lisa
it ends up at my house otherwise.
No, we're not adopting another skeleton. No.
So
the skeletons need to go away.
What you buy at the at Satan's auction goes home with you.
Mark says, is there a link to a sponsorship page?
Mark, all of the vendor links and sponsorship links will be up next week, but I will make a Facebook announcement when they're up, and I'll make sure that everybody knows.
Now, we also like you to know that anything is sponsorable. Like, if you want to sponsor the Midnight Auction, I would love that. We could work out whatever you want to sponsor. You tell us.
Dave Donahue's already sponsoring it.
Oh, that's right, Dave. I forgot. Matter of fact, Dave gave us a chunk of change for that. Thank you, Dave.
He has a big check already. The big paper check.
He made the big giant check last year. Did we cash that check? Oh,
well,
we cashed it.
Chase wouldn't let me fit it in the night slot, so I had to.
No, last year's Midnight Auction was ridiculous. We had, if you like seeing a big fat old white guy in a Satan's outfit, another guy in a crab outfit, and then another dude who shouldn't be in a Speedo, we got him auction.
Oh,
we got
my
the auction
God.
for you. We got the auction for you.
That should be a velvet painting. That's what that should be.
Oh, I think somebody did make a painting of that.
Exactly.
I think it was that Fugly that did that? I can't
So
remember.
the great thing about them, two great things about the Midnight Auction was the picture of the three of you backstage. That was awesome. The other was the pictures that got sent to me while I was sitting up there collecting. I'm trying to focus collecting money, and Kelly Rowe is sitting behind Jessica, and she's taking pictures. He's doing this. He's falling asleep at the Midnight Auction. It was hilarious. Yes.
How do you fall asleep at the Midnight Auction?
And I was laughing. I was trying to concentrate. I'm just laughing my ass off because here's Kelly.
How is he falling asleep in the Midnight Auction? It's so action packed. It's so packed full of action. Come on, man.
Was. The auction was great. The only thing the end of the Midnight Auction last year was not fun, but other than that, everything else is great about it.
That's when we talked. Yeah, we all stood up and applauded for Gary. He doesn't like that shit. So
nope,
he does not dig that. So
nope.
That's okay.
Mike evidently likes seeing a grown man cry. That was his whole purpose in life.
I do. I enjoy that. It's great stuff. It's great.
So Mike, are you gonna wear juicy sweatpants for an hour?
I have plans. I already got some good plans for this night. But thank you, Watsy, for presenting me with material for the Midnight Auction this year. That's all I can say. Is that this is going to be awesome because I have a target for my making fun of, a huge target. So
I don't know. I mean, actually, I'm thinking something that might be very collectible since there's only one of it, and this is my my proof copy. The one that I actually marked up to make corrections in.
There's something also, if you want to donate stuff for the auctions or for the con, we take donations. We've had some extremely generous donations over the last few years, and all that money went to the con. We either put it in the Midnight Auction, the regular auction, the silent auction, or we'll sell it on the Texas RPG Con auction.
Or we did it as part of the Squeaky Cage stuff.
Yes, we take that stuff. We had some Melissa and Dennis Pipes donated a huge collection a couple years ago. Last year, oh my God, I can't remember his name. Not Derek.
The guy with the Rubbermaid bins. Yes. Oh, what was his name?
Why can't we remember his name? He donated. It was very appreciated.
3 totes.
Very appreciated because we must have made at least $1,000 right off just selling that stuff from my table off the bat. And we still have a whole bunch of it in the back. So yes, anything you want to donate, we'll take anything pretty much too, because we've had some weird donations over the years, and so we find a way to get rid of them somehow. Steve Marsh always donates history, nonfiction piles of books. We'll put them in a pile and put them in the silent auction. I mean, anything you want to donate, we'll find a way to get rid of it. So,
and it all helps, people. It all helps.
It really does. We had a donation a couple years ago. One of our good buddies who's been disappeared the last few years. Oh God, my memory's failing.
Totally.
Asian guy with the long hair. Can't remember his name. No, not Mike Wu. He doesn't have long hair.
I don't know.
He has short hair.
Yeah,
he has been to the convention about 10 years. He donated some stuff, and I finally looked through it a couple years ago, and one of the items was the infamous D&D wood burning set, which he had in the shrink, and we sold that. We sold that 2020 in the auction, and I want to say that got like $3,000. So this is just something he donated with a whole bunch of other stuff. We really appreciate. I mean, some of that stuff is amazing.
Jim Kitchen donated a bunch of stuff last year, and we got a part of that. It was part of that was for him to
and Jim will be help doing the auction again.
Jim's doing the auction again.
Job.
Yes, he is.
Amazing.
He does a great job.
Yes, he is. I just talked to him last week. He is excited.
I am still trying to get in touch with a guy named Jeff Easley, who's so hard to get in touch with, and we're hoping he'll do another painting this year. I don't know why he wouldn't. He does really. We split the money with Jeff, but the painting he does every year is very appreciated. It usually sells for about $5,000. We can have it. It's incredibly, and the paintings are always amazing, and they are unique. They are a unique Jeff Easley painting, and so I wish now I'm looking back like, why did I spend the money for a few of those years? Because some of those paintings went for a couple $1,000. I probably could have afforded that for an original Jeff Easley painting to put on my wall. Because
do you want me to try to call him? I've got his.
Yes,
number.
If you could, that'd be great. If he wants to come, we'd love to have him back. We haven't had him back since before COVID, but we definitely want him to do some artwork again. If that's
I'll talk to him.
In his that would be great, Gary. I think that's. But yeah, we'd love having Jeff's a great guy to have there too, and he's awesome. We appreciate his helping us out. But yeah, anything donated, just contact Gary or I. We'll handle it. I have already had some pretty good donations last year or so. So everything. Look, we use every part of the buffalo. Okay, we're like the Native Americans. Every part of the buffalo gets used. And some of the buffalo parts are weird and strange, and you don't think they can be used, but we find a way to
value. You'll find value in everything.
Some of those parts, yeah.
Some parts.
So I was going to say something, Eric. I noticed that we'll have to watch this later, but Matt Finch. I don't want to scare people. I don't want people to leave our broadcast.
No. He already finished. I saw that.
Okay, Matt Finch had a broadcast tonight that I have not watched. I guess you haven't watched either, unless you're watching.
I'm here. I think you asked James. James Raggy was watching both at one point.
So I'd be interested in knowing what Matt said, because Matt is very, very much affected by this OGL.
Somebody said earlier that Matt said he's going to have. He'll basically. It looks like he'll be rewriting the rules and having his own license. I'm not sure how open. So I know from people in the industry that Matt's not going to go Creative Commons. So I'm assuming as legal profession, he's going to go with a license for Swords and Wizardry. Again, this is it's new territory. This is, and the fact that as a community, publishers, consumers, creators, we've all relied upon Wizards of the Coast goodwill, and somehow thought a corporate behemoth would be willing to be good. We've seen the opposite. So it really, I'm going to thank all the new viewers to this channel, because I've probably picked up close to 500 over the last couple of days. But this is not how you want to pick them up.
Did you know that we had 36 people watching at one point?
Yeah. I had Glenn and I had 65 on Friday night.
Holy crap.
Yeah, this OGL stuff is look, even though at a certain point we're just speculating on what's going on, everybody wants to hear what everybody else's speculations are. And look, there's some inside info that Eric and I know that we can't share, but this is the biggest event to happen in gaming in our generation. It really is.
Right.
Besides the original OGL actually coming into being in 2000, this is probably the second biggest gaming interesting news in our generation. This will have an impact on gaming going forward for the rest of our lifetimes. And it looks to me like everybody is leaving the OGL to create their new system, which, that's not the worst thing that can happen, Eric. I say, and maybe as much as we hate this, because we hate the fact that it's going to inconvenience us in a lot of ways, this might be what was supposed to happen at a certain point. This may be the way things were going to go, because you can't always expect these kind of things to go on forever.
Well,
you just can't.
I've heard the argument, and this is not. I thought I would hear this argument from the 5e side, where, oh my God, 5e is going to splinter. Now we're going to have different 5e clones, and you will. Kobold's announced theirs. Paizo sort of has announced theirs, with their talking about an open license You can watch my video from earlier this evening for a little bit of details on that. But it was actually about the OSR, and I'm thinking, my God, the OSR always had all these different systems that were cloning 1E, 2E, BX, BECME, the white box, and that's not really going to change. But some of the verbiage is going to change, because that's really where it comes down to.
It's not super hard. It's not super hard to make something where you don't need the OGL, but the OGL was just convenient for many years, wasn't it? That it was just so convenient to say, okay, I'm just going to use the OGL because that way I don't have to go through every term and change it. And all it's going to mean now is people just aren't going to be able to have that ease of conversion. They're going to have to go look at their document and say, okay, what in here is something that WotC uses, and what is here something that I can change? And look, I went through, because I've been working on an OSR style of rules for a while, on and off. It's called the Quest system. It's based on the great idea that Eric had for no experience points and just having people go up levels per session. And I have a whole 35-page rule set based on it. I went the other day and just changed everything up so it doesn't infringe on any WotC stuff. I mean, there you go. Boom, it's done. I mean, it took me a day to go through there and change terms and to make sure that, this was different than that, and that didn't say that, and it didn't refer to D&D isms. It was just way more convenient to use the OGL. And sadly now we have 20 years of material written in the OGL that may be really hard to get. It may be really hard to find this stuff from here on out.
It's funny that when it comes to Magic the Gathering, Wizards of the Coast found a way to fuck the creators. We're going to put out a $999 box of the hardest to find classic banned cards, because now you can have them. And now with tabletop gaming, they found a way to make current books collectible, because it looks like in less than a week you're not gonna be able to get them. Or it's not, the print on demand is going to be shut off on all this stuff, and it affects people that we know, people that we've spoken about. James Raggy was in the chat before. It affects James.
Eric, I just saw this. Did you? Frog God Games just had a huge release. Did you see this?
No.
I'm going to send it to you right now. It's pretty long. You want me to read it? I'll send it to you and then read it if you want to.
Yeah. Sure.
Hold on. Let me send it to you right off. This just happened. It said an hour ago, and I kind of had a heads up in it, but I did not know. Oh well, I can't send you the whole thing, but it's on their page. So I'm going to read this, and we can comment if you guys want to. So here's what the release says. This is from Frog God Games an hour ago. Frogger Games and Necromancer Games will not sign the open game license version 1.1. We believe that what Hasbro subsidiary Wizards of the Coast is doing is wrong, in bad faith, and likely illegal. We further believe that the strength of the industry is based on multiple people with diverse approaches to making rules, settings, and adventures for our favorite game. 23 years ago, many hundreds of thousands of dollars ago, Clark Peterson and I started a tiny company called Necromancer Games. At midnight on the day 3rd edition was released, we released the first third-party published adventure to support it, the Wizard's Amulet. Our company then worked with WotC to put together the 1.0 OGL. The promise that we could start, grow, and operate a business creating adventures for D&D was the bedrock of what was become my life's work. This must be from Bill's, so this sounds like it was written by Bill.
Yeah.
We've published for D&D 3.0, 3.5, and 5th edition. We have published for Pathfinder, Swords and Wizardry, Old School Essentials, and Castles and Crusades. We have published over 500 unique products over the years and even built our own warehouse. All this was done with the blessing of WotC through the 1.0A OGL and a contractual promise that we could do this. Third-party publishers like us made the D&D brand larger, more universal. We are not offended by the desire to make money off the third-party publishing market. We are offended that unless we give them the permanent right to use and sell our intellectual property with no compensation, we cannot continue to operate. We are offended that unless we give them the right to let them revoke our ability to publish at any time with only 30 days notice, we cannot make any more books. We are offended that even though we may have spent thousands of dollars on making the virtual tabletop versions of our games, we can't do it anymore. WotC sounds like Darth Vader talking to Lando Calrissian in The Empire Strikes Back. I am altering the deal. Pray do not alter it further. Deauthorizing the 1.0A OGL is deeply unfair, likely illegal, and evil. WotC in bad faith is breaking a promise, clear and simple. Now they want to pull the rug out from under us. They're intentionally damaging not only Necromancer Games and Frog Out Games, but the entire industry. If they proceed and succeed in deauthorizing the OGL, we will have to stop production. We will have to lay off staff and quit hiring and paying 70 or so freelancers. We'll have to cancel projects we have spent tens of thousands of dollars on already. This will put us and several dozen other companies out of business. Putting third-party publishers out of business will create a monoculture of work in D&D that prevents diversity of thought and makes it so only one company has input in the hobby. This has a real effect on people, real people, not just companies. We do not care about one D&D. What we care about is our ability to use perpetual OGL granted to us in 2000 by WotC as they promised we could. So what does this mean for Necromancer Games and Frog God Games? Almost through, guys. Sorry, this is a really long post.
I'm reading it.
I'm reading it with you. You only got 2 more paragraphs.
First, it means we need to stand up to them, fight, continue working under our existing license. In this case, I mean everyone who's a creator in the industry. Second, we need to band together to create a non-OGL and a non-WotC version of a system reference document that can forever be used by anyone. Why, you ask? WotC has proven itself to be untrustworthy, and we all need to wean ourselves off them as soon as we can. We will work with our friends in industry and have been in conversation with many of them already about doing this. Go Black Flag, and that is a direct reference to what Cobalt Press is doing. Cobalt Press. What you can do now is to help us is to buy books from us and other third-party publishers right now so we can afford to continue to operate, pay our people, and keep our pool of artists and writers from starving. Look for opportunities to let WotC know what they're doing is wrong, be it with social media or your wallet. Have no fear, we're sticking around. We know it's going to be a bumpy ride for a while, but if the fans support us, Necromancer Games and Frog Out Games, as well as dozens of other companies like us, we'll win this war and continue to make great products for the hobby.
God bless.
Good, great post. And so they joined.
That post was a Star Wars reference. I'm just saying.
Star Wars reference. I know.
It made me happy.
I wonder if Zach stuck that in there because that sounds like a Zachism.
I love it. But absolutely love it.
So we can speculate here, but they mentioned Black Flag, and they're talking about getting together in the industry. This sounds to me like this is going to be WotC's worst nightmare. Because if Cobalt Press is doing a non-OGL gaming and all these third-party publishers jump aboard, that's going to be a force to be reckoned with.
Well, here's the thing, and this is what I'm not blowing anything up here. I'm not giving any secrets that aren't already out there. Cobalt Press, I said, Black Flag is the code name for their project for a new SRD that they will open up. Okay, that's number one. Paizo today revealed through their link to their email on their own site that they're working on an open project. Maybe these two companies can get together and work on it together, and maybe they will. Maybe right now it's just getting your resources together. But we need to see this happening with all the publishers. I mean, I am someone who remembers the wars between Gamma and TSR back in the day, because if you read any magazines back then that were gaming related, they were always in there. Well, folks, this is it. This is the time. This is the time when you mobilize, and they're not looking for donations. They're not looking for you to pledge. They're looking for you to spend your money on products. Get gaming material in return for supporting the third-party publishers that you love, that you enjoy, that their products do something for you. All right. If I hope nobody gets offended, but if you want to play an adventure for your favorite fantasy role-playing game where you're a barista, have at it. You're probably not watching this now.
Let's just say that the last 3 products by by WotC, everyone that we've talked to inside the industry, they were absolute unrepentant flops. And we're talking about, I'll name them. We're talking about Strixhaven. We're talking about Spelljammer. We're talking about what was the anthology, Eric? I can't remember.
God, let's
just say if you want Spelljammer now, it's available on Amazon for $30 because they have copies to wallpaper the Pentagon. I mean, these were terrible. The people that WotC. Okay, this is my rant for the evening, Eric. The people that WotC has now, creative people now, are terrible. They're garbage. They don't have any. They have nothing. They got nothing. These are people with nothing. Everything they put out so far in the last year has been absolutely terrible. And this isn't just based on sales. Look at the ratings. Look at the ratings for people on Amazon and elsewhere. They get rated terribly. Spelljammer got horrible ratings for everybody that read it. So does Strixhaven. So does some other stuff. The book I can't remember the name of. They are putting out flat out garbage right now, and everybody that is a creative or has any creative bones in their body doesn't work for WotC right now, and they're all going to be putting out different stuff. And so this means to me is they don't care about quality. They're doing what Marvel Comics did in the early part of the century when their movies were making so much money it was obscene. They told their comics division, we don't care what you do. We don't care. As long as there's a Thor comic out there, it can be a woman, it can be a gorilla, it can be a frog. We don't care. As long as it says Thor and it's out there, we can put it. So Marvel Comics was selling, let's say, every month about 100,000, 200,000 copies of X-Men. They're happy now when they get 30,000 because they don't care about comics anymore. Comics isn't important. You're seeing the same thing with WotC. Gaming is not important to them. What's important is VTT, that you go see their movie, that you go watch their television show, and that you do microtransactions. They don't care about in-print product anymore. And it shows by the shitty quality of the crap they're spitting out right now.
And so and what kills me is they think that by doing this is going to help their movie. Are you kidding? I mean,
is this why they delayed the opening? Because it wasn't supposed to open in January. Is this like,
it was supposed to open last year? I thought it was supposed to open last year at Christmas. No, it was supposed to open. No, it was supposed to open at Christmas last year. So, but what Polyhedral said too, Ray Winninger, we talked about that earlier, got fired. From what his post said, he disagreed with this totally. He disagreed with it and did not support it, and so he was out the door. Because if you're not on board this train, buddy, this train's a rolling. And so Ray Winninger is a very well-respected, I don't always agree with his opinions on stuff, but he's a smart dude. He's been working in gaming forever, and they thought they didn't care what he wanted to say. And he was president, and they told him to get lost. And now they have somebody in there that has flat out already stated they don't know what D&D is. They've never played D&D. They don't know. They don't understand RPGs. What they understand is microtransactions, because that's what they were in charge of at Microsoft, was microtransactions. And they think they can microtransaction this market. Let me tell you, do not go see their movie, which might be shitty anyway, but do not go see their movie. Look, I understand if you have to see the movie because you have to see it. Wait a week. Don't see it opening weekend. Opening weekend is that is the barometer. Do not go see their movie. Do not go see, they're not subscribed to Paramount Plus and watch their television show. Don't buy WotC product anymore. Just stay away from them. They have to know that this has an effect, but they are banking everything on the digital market, on the video market. They are really, really hoping this movie hits huge, and this is just like Marvel Comics.
Yep.
Marvel Comics movies but now the difference is Marvel Comic movies were great. They were written really well. They had great actors. And I think this franchise for them came out of nowhere. I don't think they thought these movies were going to be this big, the Marvel movies.
Yeah.
But they got really lucky by hiring some great actors to play all the parts. I mean, Robert Downey Jr. and Evans and, all those. I mean, they did a great job. And they formed this whole empire that basically Marvel Comics now is their movie division, is Disney Plus. It is not the comics anymore. The comics are meaningless. So, you can pick up a Marvel comic now. It has shitty art in it, and it has a terrible story. And that's because they don't care anymore. And that's the way D&D is going to be from here on out. They don't care about their product.
Saying, hope the movie flops and hope the streaming series is shit, so it doesn't get lost. And by the way, Bob, I left your comment up because I read it real fast, and I misread astral as anal, and I was like, "What the?" And then went, "Oh, I read that too fast." So that's why, but I had to leave that one up because
stay away from their products online. Like I said, I understand if you have to, you're just curious. You're it's like when you're in college, you're bi-curious, right? I mean, everybody, right? Well, it's just me. Okay, well,
just you,
but
just you.
That just me. If you're curious about it, I understand. But if you have to see the movie, wait 3 or 4 weeks. Don't go see it there.
Wait till it comes off. If you're Mike, the analogy you're making together is this one is. And by the way, Radiant Citadel. That's right. That's the
best. Oh, the Radiant Citadel. That's terrible reviews. It was awful. So they thought admirable that you get a diverse audience to write stuff. I understand that. Not admirable that you got a diverse audience that didn't know how to write, because apparently a lot of them had never written anything before in their lives, and they did a check mark like, oh, you're this. Okay, check. You could write, and they were terrible. It was awful. Didn't sell. Stacks of those books are sitting there. Stacks of I mean, this stuff has been bad the last few years. They don't care. They chased all the creatives off. All they're here for is to boost their online platform and to boost their media platform. That's all they care about at this point. They don't care about their game anymore. They're happy. Look, the reason these onerous terms are in this leaked contract is because they don't care if you sign or not. Nobody with a brain. Matt Colville, have you seen his posts on this? This is ludicrous. Matt Colville was like, I would never sign this garbage. His last Kickstarter made $1 million. Why on earth would he hand $250,000 of that back to Watson for whatever reason? He's not going to do that. He's not signing this stupid contract. Nobody's signing this contract unless they get special consideration, which is why I'm interested to hear what kind of deal Critical Role cuts with him. Because there's no way Critical Role is going to sign a ridiculous contract. Critical Role is going to sign a contract that says everything we do belongs to you now. No, there's no way they're creating stuff just so that Watson can steal it.
I still don't think this stuff is enforceable.
Your IP belong to me.
That's so, Gary. A lot of people have the exact. So
I just
almost every lawyer I've talked to agrees with you, Gary. The problem is. The fact that it would take 4 or 5 years to fight this in court, they just don't want to do it, and they might be able to even afford it, but it's just a drain.
Yeah, but that's
the reason nobody wants to fight it.
But you don't have to spend a lot of money to tie them up in court. So at the end of the day, you're forcing them to spend money on, and their stock price. In preparation for this discussion, I did a little research because this is not my forte, but I checked their stock price. They're down almost 30% since last year.
That's the same numbers. Yeah, 30%. Yes.
And I'm telling you right now, the last thing they want to do in this money grab, because that's all this is a money grab. But the last thing they want to do through all this money grab is then have to go and fight to enforce it. And I'm telling you right now, let's just say they were going to sue Frog God. Okay, fine. They file in court. They have to get their attorneys to do it. All Frog God has to do is have Zach sign a form with the court. They don't have to have an attorney to file that they're going to. And now they can tie it up for however long they can push them off,
not only that,
and force them to spend the money, not in Frog God.
Well, not only that, I've seen several real lawyers and real life lawyers say that the court would not enter an injunction against Frog God or any other company to not publish. No. They would say no, because that's what WotC would love to do, is have an injunction where you could not publish while this.
But they won't,
because this would drive you into the dirt if you couldn't sell your product.
Correct. And everybody you cannot do that to somebody.
Right.
In a court of law, you can't do that to somebody unless you can prove that you're going to be able to make your case up front. And it's not even that they would be able to enforce this. So I just think it's so.
I think you're right, Gary. I just think that's what I was saying earlier to Eric, is that maybe it's just the OGL's time. I think everybody's just tired of living under the sword of Damocles. And yes, they could fight it in court and they could probably win. But why? Let's just go ahead and create our own game over here and just tell WotC to go fuck themselves.
Yeah.
Why are we going to even deal with that?
Because to your point from the phone call we had earlier in the week, you can't trust them anymore. The Frog God post said something about you can't. Right. And again, it is the Darth Vader thing. Nobody trusts Darth Vader, so it's the same thing. I mean, you pray I don't alter it further. Exactly. What happens next year?
Well, here I want to guess what Polyhedra Paradise has up here. Just real quick. The only people that got special consideration were the ones who got the OGL a month ago after signing the NDA. Here's the thing. This is what I'm getting from my sources. Take it for what it's worth. When it came to the OGL, the biggest problem for these publishers is pretty much what Frog God said. I'm giving away all my rights to my own work for nothing, right? Nothing in return. That's my understanding is the only deal that was being made was, we'll lower your 25% down to 20, or we'll lower it down to 18. What about the rights to my work? Oh no, we can't give that up, because what if you had the same thought? No, that has to stay. That's why these publishers and these creators are going, I can't agree to this. If you
nobody can agree, Eric, nobody can agree to this.
A company that employs people, and you're ever going to hit that taxable number, it's ridiculous. But to know that you're going to give up your rights to everything you produce forever, because this time they said it was irrevocable. By the way, just so you remember.
So I'll give you an example. The X-Men character Wolverine. Would you say that's a popular character? How many movies have been made of that guy? I mean, 6, 8. Many. It used to be you could stick him in any Marvel comic, and that comic immediately went up double the sale value. So Len Wein created Wolverine in a Hulk comic back in the 70s. Mm-hmm. Back then, everything in Marvel comics and in all comics was work for hire. Whatever you create on that page became the property of Marvel or DC Comics. Here we are 40 years later. Now Len's passed away. How many billions of dollars did the character of Wolverine make that Len saw not 1 cent of, because it was created work for hire? Now, if somebody in comics has a great idea, you know what they do? They go form their own comic studio. That way they retain all ownership of their character. That's another reason why comics suck now, because nobody is creating a great character for DC or Marvel Comics when they can just go create their own comic company and create a character. There's no reason to do that. There's no reason that the guys who created Batman and Superman were destitute for years until they finally got thrown money by DC Comics and Marvel Comics because they were embarrassed to do it. Jack Kirby, they embarrassed people into giving Jack Kirby money because he helped create the Fantastic Four and other characters. He was destitute because
Mike,
these guys
to answer your question,
owned his character.
There's 9 Wolverine movies plus an appearance in Deadpool 3. So there you go.
He has made millions, if not billions of dollars, and Len did not see 1 cent of that. Len saw 0 of that. Yep. So this is the whole thing. Herb Trimpe, the artist who first drew him, not 1 cent. So this is why they see these examples of people that get screwed over by creating something for a mega corporation, and they're like, why am I going to do that? There's more avenues now. Look, back in the 70s, Len had he had no idea this character would be that popular because comics were kind of the ghetto in the 70s. But he also, they didn't have the kind of, like, if you wanted to cut an album back in the 70s, you didn't. Nowadays, if Gary and I want to cut a rap album, which we may do next week, we could just go to the warehouse,
We've talked about it several times. Yeah,
of course. And we can do it like in a day with a laptop and the right
software.
Software. But back then you couldn't create your own comic. You had to work for DC or Marvel or Charlton or one of the little comics. So nowadays everybody is hip to this. They all know that if you create something for a mega corporation, you don't own it. Why on earth would anybody do it under those terms?
Right.
Those are the worst terms. Everybody that's seen it, every lawyer.
It's not even like they're not even paying you a salary for it. You're just saying, I'm using your license. Here's all my work. And Ron, let me just let you know.
Yeah, Ron. So Eric has a good theory on this, Ron. So,
all right, so Ron, that contract that is out there in the wild, the one that I actually got a copy of, the original PDF, but there's also like a text version out there. That is from my sources, from a signed contract. It wasn't somebody from WotC releasing it to see what the reaction was going to be. This was somebody, and not my theory, but a theory of a few others. This is somebody who some feel risked their company, violating an NDA to release this because that is how horrible a contract it was. You haven't heard, who haven't we heard from so far? Except for Goodman Games, and I'm pretty sure Joe remembers.
There's no way Joe signed this crap. There's no way Joe signed this now.
And he got fucked without the reach around. See, I didn't say reach around yet in this one, so I had to throw that in. I've done that in a couple other videos.
Is this a drinking game?
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah, but Joe really he believed Wizards of the Coast. He took them at their word, and he got royally screwed.
Joe is going to get really screwed because Joe has copies of all those very excellent 5e, 1e reprints of Temple of Elemental Evil, B4, all those stuff. What's he going to do with them all now? He's got stacks of books he can't get rid of if the OGL gets screwed over. And there's no way Joe is going to sign this. Look, Joe's a lawyer. He knows he can see this coming. I don't know any personal information on Joe at all, but there's no way he signs this. And Eric, you had said something really insightful this week on one of your broadcasts.
Which one's the Scorched Earth?
Well, I know. I think that they were hoping people would sign so they could Friday they could pop up and say, "Well, look who signed our thing. Look who signed. We had these guys, Cobalt Press signed, and Goodman Games signed, and Critical Role signed, and Matt Colville signed, and look, and nobody is signing it.
Nobody of note, nobody of any worth, of any impact, and they can't sell that Listen, if you can't sell it to the first tier, third publishers, you're not going to get the second tier and the third tier.
Once Cobalt Press told them to fuck off, they were screwed. Because Cobalt Press was the one I think they really wanted. All apologies to Frog God and Paizo. Cobalt puts out great product and they make a lot of money. And,
all for 5e.
It's all 5e. All for 5e.
This is Cobalt is they're in. We'll give them a deal. Listen, guys, Wolfgang, we'll just take 18%. 15%, but we still don't owe you shit.
Okay, but what got me was when Mike told me about the percentage. It's not even a stair step; it's a cliff. So you go from once you cross the threshold, boom, you've already cut your profit by 25% right off the top. It's not like some kind of step deal. It's just a cliff.
It's not your profit. This is off your revenue.
No. I meant what I meant. Yeah, but I'm just saying it's just nuts.
You could do really well.
How can you want to stop your Kickstarter at $749,000 because once you hit $750, you're fucked. And so it's ridiculous because you got to hope that your Kickstarter
or you have to pad it to $1 million. Well, you have to pad it to $1 million so that you can't cover your damn cost.
Like Matt Koval said, his Kickstarters usually make about $1 million. He's not giving $200,000 to WotC. I mean, that's just ludicrous. That's not even counting what you have to get to Kickstarter. Kickstarter takes 10%. So when he makes $1 million, Kickstarter already takes $100,000. Well, that means that he loses $300,000. Fuck no!
But
nobody's
don't
doing that.
People automatically figure the 10% in on their costs?
Yeah, well, no, that comes out afterwards. That comes out. So when you make $1 million,
no. I'm saying, but when they're doing their cost analysis on there, don't they factor that in? Okay,
no, you should do that.
Yeah, but which of the cost isn't going to factor it in?
Right.
How much did you make on your Kickstarter? I made $1 million, but they took. Oh, we don't care what they took out. How much did you make? $1 million. Oh, we don't care. They took $100,000.
What are you paying in taxes? I lost money on this Kickstarter now. What the hell?
Can you imagine somebody who let's say you budgeted. Let's say I can get this Kickstarter out and I can get it on time and I can pay for everything for $800,000. That is going to cover my Kickstarter. Can you imagine if you make $801,000? You're fucked because Kickstarter is going to take out their 10%. Then WotC is going to roll in there $800,000. They're going to take out their $160,000. Now you're $200,000 in the hole for when you thought you could do this Kickstarter at $800,000. Now you only got $600,000 and you're fucked because you can't get the Kickstarter out. That is why nobody will sign this piece of garbage. Because nobody is going to potentially lose money on a gigantic Kickstarter. Or they're not going to be sitting there. Usually, let's say that you do a Kickstarter, there's been a lot of really surprising Kickstarter years. Exploding Kittens, right? Exploding Kittens came out, whatever, it's this dumb card game. It's racking up tons. They were happy, right? I'm so happy. This is awesome. Well, now you're not happy because you're scared. Like, oh, shit. Oh my God, we're gonna go for $700,000. Oh my God, please stop at $750. Please stop. Who's gonna live like that? Who's gonna sit there and go, I don't want to make $750.
Kickstarter's gonna have to put like a max. Like you better back soon because they're gonna max out. They're hitting their maximum goal.
Well, okay. Well, and then you got like the BattleTech Kickstarter was, I think the original amount was like $500,000. It went to almost $5.6 million, and now their Clan Invasion one, the second one, is $2.58 million.
Well, take 25%, 20%.
I'm just saying, it's ridiculous, and the math is just stupid. I don't know how if these people have any kind of business sense at all, how they think that they can make that math work and get people to get on board with this.
Because I think another thing Eric said was very insightful. This is scorched earth. My theory, personal theory, and I don't know if Eric agrees with totally, is I think they made this very onerous on purpose. Because I think they wanted to clear the board. I think they want to get rid of all third-party publishers. Because look, here's their plan. Here's their fear.
To what end?
Let me tell you. Here's my conspiracy theory. So you
Lord.
comment on it. So here's my conspiracy.
Is this a drinking game too?
No, it's not. But they come out. So this year, the year before the anniversary, they come out with a movie and a TV show. Right? They want everybody, when they talk about, when you see the movie or watch TV show and you walk to your game store and want to buy D&D, all they want you to be able to buy is their D&D. They don't want you to buy Raggy stuff. They don't want you to buy Grim Jim stuff. They don't want you to buy Matt Finch's stuff. That they want their brand name to be right there on the shelf to where you can buy and nothing else. They don't want you to get confused at all about what D&D is. And this is them clear the table. Sure, if you want to sign their idiotic onerous terms, they'll take that. They'll take free money. That's what it is. It's free money for them. But they literally have made a poison pill contract they do not want you to sign because they have this idea for a gigantic, they want to become Marvel Comics. They want to have this gigantic media empire and they don't want any other competition. And I'm sorry, as dumb as your third party game is, Thirsty Sword Lesbians, they don't want Thirsty Sword Lesbians on the shelf because they don't want your kids saying, Mommy, what is this? Thirsty Sword Lesbians. I wanted to play D&D. They don't want them there. They want them gone. They want all of Raggy stuff gone. Raggy stuff is too gross and gore filled and sexy.
We don't want Vanger stuff.
No Vanger stuff. No.
There's a lot of things. See, now I'm looking at it as you are, and 2023 is a down year. The year between editions.
Right.
So if you're going to burn everything to the ground, now
it's the perfect year because they're going to take a loss. They think they might take a loss this year anyway, right? Because they're probably not going to come up with a lot of new content.
We're going to just explain it that it's a year between editions, not that we burned it, not that we burned the whole market to pieces. But I also believe that they really, when you say they don't want anybody to sign up, no, they do. They wanted something like the DMs Guild, which I've been saying since before we even heard about this. Because the DMs Guild. They don't want you to sell to the OGL. They want you to sell to the DMs Guild, and they get 50% of what you make, and they get all the rights they get in the OGL. Why would you sell anything outside of the DMs Guild if you're going to sign 1.1? Unless you're a major publisher, and for you it's a poison pill. But if you're not in those taxable numbers, 1.1 still makes no sense because they take all your rights.
There's not a lawyer. Look, any big company like that or any big individual has a lawyer advising him, right? There's not a lawyer on earth that looks at that and doesn't say, we're not signing this shit. There's not a lawyer on earth, not even someone that graduated last in the class. They're going to say, this, you give all your product, you give all the rights to your product to what? No, you're not. No, nobody is. So that's what I'm saying is if you're dumb enough to sign it, they're okay. They'll take your money. Yeah, we'll take your money. But they want to wipe the slate clean, clear the decks, whatever metaphor you want to use, and they want to go into 2024, the year of the big anniversary, as saying one D&D. This is the only D&D there is. Yep. We don't care that all these third-party publishers left. We are going to present. This is what we present to you. This is D&D now. Nothing else is D&D.
Strixhaven Volume 3: The Reckoning.
But see, here's what's
the star bucketing.
I don't know how they think this is going to help them because their net income for second quarter was down 47% year over year, and their third quarter net income was down
because Gary
9%. I don't know how they think that's going to
explain to you because they think that these third party publishers, they think that Frog Out Games is stealing money off their table. They think that Paizo's stealing money from them. They think that don't you think that's true, Eric? Definitely. They think that all these third parties look they had their stockholders meeting in October, November, and they stated that they want their profit to increase by 50% in the next 3 years. And somebody looked at it and said, "Why are all these third-party companies?" That's when they fired Ray Reniger because they went in there and said, "Why are all these third-party companies putting out product? Get rid of it." And he said, "That's a terrible idea. Oh, you're gone. We don't want you. Let's get the chick in from Microsoft that knows about microtransactions."
So
she said
a company who had $1.6 billion in sales in third quarter of 2022, but had a net change in cash of negative $76 million, is worried about what Frog God's making? You got to be kidding me. They need to worry about what they're selling and get their cash flow straightened out.
Oh my God, no, they're selling the best products ever. Look, we have Starbucks.
Evidently not. I'm looking at math. It doesn't, I mean.
But Gary, you're looking at numbers, if there was of the Coast numbers, that are Magic the Gathering. D&D is a smaller share, and therefore, if they want to increase the D&D share of the market, and I personally don't think it's most of that. I do think, as Mike is saying, it's clear the board. We don't want any. If you look at the morality clause, they want to make sure there's no isms, ifs, or eds involved in anything that you write.
Oh, now I get it.
So this is to control it. So when the big bop happens next year,
I got you.
Anybody who has bought a D&D book prior to 2020, when they decided that orcs were no longer evil, if you still believe orcs should be an evil race, you are now part of the OSR. You are part of those bearded old white men that yell at kids to get off their lawn, and
you're white supremacist.
You're white supremacist and use outdated terminology.
I got you.
By the way, even if you're not white, you're still a white supremacist. Even if you're you don't have to be white. You just have to believe the wrong things.
Okay, I got it now. But that's again, it's stupid, but whatever.
It's really like Greg says, it's not just putting out their product; it's also social control. They want to be able to control. Look, here's the most hypocritical.
That's worked out so well for others.
Because having all these different voices, the game. I don't know if I'd like the game. I don't know much about the game, but Thirsty Sword Lesbians won the Gold Annie last year or whatever at the Annie Awards. That's not that is obviously a diverse type game because it's about gender flexibility and role playing and stuff. That's the kind of game they don't want. How can they say they're diverse when they don't want Thirsty Sword Lesbians? That's exactly why you need third-party publishers like the Thirsty. I can't remember the guy's name. Thirsty Sword Lesbians, like James Raggy, like these guys. You need these guys because they're going to put out the product that WotC isn't. There's no way in their walled garden they allow Thirsty Sword Lesbians. That is not going to happen. So that's less diversity. That's not more diversity. Right. That's less diversity because they're saying we don't want this game because we're a little squeaked by the title and by the subject matter.
There's other things that go a little bit deeper into 1.1, like Dandelion Games talks about the new OGL when it comes to like toys and video games, tying to the movies. Definitely control. But here's the thing too. It can only be print or electronic media that is fixed. EPUB, PDF. Why? Because they want control over the media. You couldn't even put up a blog post with SRD stats in it. I mean, I have dozens of posts where I release content under the OGL, which likely at this point, according to Wizards of the Coast, I got to take it down. Wizards, you know where I am. Go find me. All right? Because I'm not going to go through my blog for years to find posts that are now in violation of an OGL that was valid when I wrote it.
Look, one of the quotes from Cynthia Williams earlier last year, I don't have it right in front of me, but it was that D&D is under-monetized. We think we can monetize this like video games. That is one of the recurring things we've seen is that they don't understand role-playing games. They don't want to understand role-playing games. They're trying to shove it into a niche that says all games are alike when board games are different. Role-playing games are different. Card games are different. They're all different. And they don't understand that. They're trying to make that square peg shoved in that round hole. Look, and Gary and I have talked about this before, and Eric and I talked about this. Gamers are cheap. They're cheap ass motherfuckers. Yeah. They don't like to spend a lot of money. And there was just a study that came out that said, what was it, 20 or 30% of all sales are from DMs. DMs buy every. I'm sorry.
DMs spend more money.
Right.
Basically,
they're like 80. Yeah.
Your one DM probably spends half the money the rest of the party.
I said the quote wrong. The quote is 30% of the buying public in D&D is the DMs. Or I'm sorry, 30%, because they buy. They're the ones that buy all the stuff. They're like, why don't we have players buying stuff? We want players to be buying their characters, be buying their spells, be buying their goods online. They want to set up this whole monetization thing without realizing gamers are cheap ass motherfuckers.
Well,
they're not going to spend that.
Don't they understand that there's probably, I'm telling you, this just screams of, nature finds a way kind of thing. I'm just telling you right now, do they not understand there's going to be a black market that's going to happen whether they know it or not? I mean, they're not going to have time to scan the internet to find all this stuff either.
Because they're used to dealing. So they have the people that are running it now are used to the video game industry, which is quite different.
Very.
Yes, you can go on Xbox and
frugal. Bob says he's frugal, not cheap. Okay. Okay, Bob.
Look, if you want to go on PUBG or Call of Duty or whatever and buy a new uniform or a kick-ass, paint scheme for your gun, you'll spend the money. They see people doing this. They think, well, people will do that for D&D, but it's a different audience, man. I just got into Xbox the last few years because I've told the story before. My grandson was kind of getting older and we didn't have a lot in common. For Christmas about 5 years ago, I bought him an Xbox. We both played together all the time on Xbox before we went to the Air Force. Which, by the way, he's still a boot going through camp. He's doing great. Nice. Got a letter from the other day. But yeah, I mean but once I got an Xbox, I was running into totally different people than I ever ran into when I was role playing gaming or even tabletop gaming. It's a totally different audience. They think totally differently.
And they spend totally differently.
Right.
But the other thing is too that I don't think that they get is let's take the books out of let's take the rule books out of the equation, the player's handbook, DM guide, and all that kind of stuff, and let's take the adventures out of the mix for a second. Technically, they don't need any of that. You can sit down and play D&D. Mason used to do it all the time with 3 pages out of the DM guide and a couple of copies out of the player's handbook, and would come and ask me to print him something, 1 page out that he needed for somebody, and he'd run his own games on his own. So it's not like a video game. You can't do that with a video game.
No, you can't.
And so it's not the same thing. But, and if they think for a minute that people aren't going to buy Raggy's or anybody else's stuff, I'm going to tell you right now, these people can start their own little website. It takes almost no skill whatsoever to create a website, and you can put your stuff on there and hook it to Square and charge your credit card and move on with your life. And I'm telling you right now, that stuff's going to happen in the background, whether Watchy likes it or not.
But here's the thing, too, which Greg Gillespie pointed out, too. Like, this applies to dance, songs, and Greg left this one out. I'd like to see how this works. Pantomime. Pantomime has no fucking words. All right? It's a pantomime. You can't pantomime and violate the OGL. Rolling dice in a pantomime is not a fucking OGL.
Well, there goes our special event next year for North Texas, Gary.
It's like
our pantomime event. Cross it off the list.
I'm in a Watsy box. Oh, I get to use my word.
Damn it. I was looking forward to that.
I was too. I had a whole routine worked up.
Now, this whole thing actually got me to watch Ginny D for the first time. I never watched her. I heard about her. And I watched one of her videos. And I was like, oh my God, they're offended because she's actually using D&D terms in her songs. And they know she's making money on her YouTube videos, and they want their share. So, you know what? It's a money grab, and at the same time, it's a clear the slate. They're not even sure exactly how they want to handle it. And I think that's part of the problem, too. They're trying to clear a slate and at the same time grab money. And they're so confused between the two because you have to tell the suits that we're grabbing money. And at the same time, you're telling the other suits, we're going to get all this back. It's all going to be ours again. But in the meantime, we need to grab money from the YouTubers.
It's not going to work.
And I feel bad for I feel bad for a lot of those streamers and YouTubers. Look, this is the reason. So for those of us old men here, we remember the Napster issues when Sony was going in and suing old ladies and teenagers because you had we checked your hard drive and you had 6 songs you weren't supposed there. You owe us $345. I mean, it was ridiculous. It was such a bad publicity hit. I mean, it was horrible because they were literally going after grandmas and teenagers and suing them for money. And the reason it's not there anymore is because it was ludicrous, and they finally realized that whatever we're supposedly saving and getting our songs back, we're losing in publicity. People are pissed off at us. We're getting bad publicity because we're suing old ladies.
This is going to be worse.
And this is going to be worse. This is much worse because they've just put every third party system out of business, and they've either going to rewrite their whole rule set, or sign on with a company that's doing a one size fits all gaming thing, or just quit doing anything. Just say, well, I can't, I don't want to spend the time or money, so I'm just going to quit. This is just the same as the Napster disaster. And for those go to look at Wikipedia and read up Napster. After everything they did to put Napster out of business, they ended up giving Napster back all their money and saying, yeah, we don't care what you do anymore. Because another thing they realized, and this is some of the, that's what's always funny about these big corporations. They supposedly have the smartest guys in the room, and they're really not, because they don't know what they're doing. They didn't realize that having music for free online actually sold more albums than not having albums. Because I know when I would hear an album I'd like, I might have downloaded an illegal song off of Napster just to hear what the album sounded like. But then I'd go buy the album though, because Gary had something happen there. Gary was looking over his shoulder before he went out. Maybe it was a Watsy goon.
He turned off his camera. He's being assassinated by Watsy.
Oh, okay.
No. I was. My wife wanted to speak to me for a moment.
Oh, okay.
I didn't want to be on camera, so
that's okay.
But so that they finally realized and that they were making more money by having people download songs illegally than not, because people would oftentimes download a song. If they liked it, they'd go buy the whole album, because people were generally honest people. And that's what I would do. I would download a song or two, but I want the whole CD. And so I would just go buy, I would download a song or two. Okay, I like this album, go buy the CD. Oh, I don't like this album, I don't want the CD. And that's what most people were doing. They weren't stealing all the music. They were just testing it. And it turned out that they finally did the research on it. They said, oh, guess what? We were actually selling more albums doing this.
But wouldn't that kind of be like third-party publishers supporting your core system? Oh, never mind. Yeah. Never mind.
But see to tie this back to the whole North Texas theme, that's why we're at North Texas, as Mike mentioned, we're not going to support the new format. So old school only, baby.
I'm telling you, I really hope that more people jump aboard this, because look, one D&D is not going to make or break your convention, folks. As a matter of fact, it's going to make you friends. If you're out there and you're running a convention, go ahead and say we're not going to run one.
It's not going to make us friends. We're supporting our friends. These are people definitely. We are already friends with, and we're just supporting them.
And look at it this way: if you're a convention, like you go to Gamehole Con or Gary Con or even Gen Con, how many people there are selling OSR compatible, OGO compatible stuff that aren't going to be there in the next few years? I mean, they need to think about that. I mean, you're used to going into Gen Con's giant hall and it being full. What if there's only 3/4 of the people there next couple of years, because they're like, look, I can't, I don't want to sell my game online. I had to give up, or I'm only going to sell to other people that I know. You may see a crisis here in conventions when it comes to filling up tables. Yes, you're always going to be able to sell dice and dice rollers and mats and stuff like that, but this is going to really dry up the third-party people at conventions. Yeah. And I don't know if that's even been considered when people talk about, what you're going to do at a convention. Well, if you go to a convention and half the tables are empty, that's not good for anybody. Well, but I mean, in our case, it's not going to look. Giving up one D&D ain't going to hurt us one bit. It's going to help us, because, like I said, we support the people that we support. They're almost all third-party people. It's not going to hurt us a bit. I guess if you're
these are the people that support us.
Yes.
So.
But think about it. What is Watsy doing for your convention? Like if you're Gary Con or I guess I'm calling out Alex and Luke now. I'm sorry, guys. I love you guys, but what is it doing for your con? I mean, what what is it doing for your con positively at this point when they've just sit there and they just took big steaming shit on all your fans and all your third-party publishers? What good is it having WotC at your convention? Do they want to go to cons and see WotC people here now? I don't. I'd be scared to have WotC people at my con. I'd be scared to have Cynthia Williams at my convention.
Oh no. She's like, well, isn't that the vice president
provide security
that he like? Well, I played D&D when I was younger, and my son now.
You'd have to provide security for these people. I mean,
by the way, that's not in our budget.
No, it isn't.
Unless the West Texas guys want to volunteer.
If Jeremy Crawford comes to your convention, you may have to. I know he's probably not involved in this any way, shape, or form. But guess what? He's probably going to need protection because nobody's going to have a good word to say to him about anything. They're going to be like, "Hey, you assholes! Hey, asshole! Well, why did you do
Mike,
this? Why did you guys do this?"
I need 2 minutes. I got to do something really quick.
Well, actually, we should be wrapping this up. We should wrap this up. We've been doing this for 2 hours and 45 minutes.
Yeah, but we still have 41 people watching us.
But I have a human bladder. I don't have a.
Oh no!
I just I'll come back. I just need to go do something real quick. So.
Well, okay.
We'll
wait for Gary. We'll wait for Gary to get back.
You go. We'll
wait for Gary to get back, and then we'll shut it down. But this is an interesting subject that we'll be talking about this all year because it's just it's the story of the decade. I mean, let's face it.
Oh man. And what blows my mind is, of course, probably right after I did a recording right before we did this, and I'm probably, which by the way already has like 2,500 views.
Jeez.
And that was just about the
look at those subscription numbers. Holy moly, over 2,000.
So
we went over 2,000. We owe people.
No, we're doing 2,500. We're doing
2,500.
2,500. We're gonna do 2,500, and we hit 2,500 subscribers. We'll give away $250.
We may hit 2,500 before March.
I think
we may.
If they never release the OGL, I'll hit it in a week. I mean,
sorry, my wife goes to bed, and I just want to talk her night. So
you tucked her in. Oh, that's sweet. Yeah.
Rachel will just go to bed and start snoring if I'm doing this.
Wow.
I have ulterior motives. I have to make sure Carl's not in there.
Oh God.
Yeah. So, there you see.
Yeah, that's creepier than normal. Yeah, that's good. That's a good one. Well, I guess we need to wrap it up here because Eric's about to pee his pants.
Alrighty then.
There's
a vision.
So any questions about North Texas? We have our pages up. Our Facebook page is up. Gary and I are
Website's
available
up.
We're available anytime.
Private message me, send me an email, whatever.
He's right. Go to Trollord. They give me away the CNC Player's Handbook for free. Grab your copy before you can't grab your copy.
Oh, and not just that. Speaking of, Gary and buy Greg Gillespie's monster book. I bought 2 of them today. A great book. The artwork's great. The monsters are great. GURPS, you can buy GURPS Basic Role Playing for 99 cents right now. It's a beautiful gold book, and actually, I like Basic Role Playing a lot. It's percentage based. It's very easy to play. That's a good book.
Which on the Steve Jackson site, or
no Chaosium, the Chaosium GURPS.
sorry, not GURPS. Basic Role Playing.
Basic Role Playing. Why did I say GURPS?
Yes, folks, you can. If
people.
You want to do your host a little favor, go to TenkarTavern.com. Yesterday, I think it's yesterday's post. I linked it. I make a whole 8 cents on
it's
every.
It's a beautiful book. Beautiful book.
You can get PDF.
It is not OGL. Yeah, PDF's 99 cents. It's not OGL. But it's a good system too. But I mean, I would tell people stick around. See what these publishers like Kobold and Frog Out are going to come up with. It's going to be something. Look, I know everybody that works at these companies. They're all incredibly creative people. They love D&D. They don't want to lose their jobs. They don't want to go hungry.
Right.
We literally have people. I know that they tell you that gaming is not supposed to be your job because you can't make a living at it. We literally have people that make their living at games, and it's really this type of news is terrible for them. It really is terrible because they're not making big money. They're, most of these people are making like an extra $5-10 grand a year. Seriously.
Yeah.
And this is devastating to them to have to do this.
Well, just remember, North Texas is supporting them, so come out and support us.
Yes.
Get your tickets now. Submit your games now. Go to tabletop. Let's get registered. Let's get people signed up. We're ready to rock and roll.
And by the way, another thing, Eric, I don't know if you saw it, but you probably I don't saw it. We're blocked from the site, but Labyrinth Lord just announced they're not going to do a second edition.
Yeah, I'm in. Blows my mind. I am in the Labyrinth Lord second edition group. I was allowed to join, yet I cannot find any posts from Dan Proctor. So I find this out on the side.
Unfriended me.
Well, because I guess I am the media, and I said that.
Well, he unfriended me too, so I rely on what I hear from other people. But apparently, he is not going to. Labyrinth Lord 2.0 is on hold, probably indefinitely, which is sad. So, I mean, look, these are great books. I don't know why I have all this stuff just sitting here, but
he's probably not going
to be able to find this anymore. So if you can get this stuff, it's really good stuff. I like the Labyrinth Lord rules. This is basically a clone of 1E. So
Joe the lawyer did make a good point today. He said probably in a couple of weeks, a good place to go shopping is going to be now why can't I'm doing a mic now? Oh
yeah, Price Book.
No, Noble Books.
Oh yeah, Noble Knights books.
Yeah. Because everybody's gonna be selling off their back stock.
Their stock. Yep. It's sad but true. Because they got to get rid of it and they can't do it. Although I think a lot of that you're still going to see. I'd be surprised. Well, this is a whole nother topic we don't have time to get into because we're almost at 3 hours. Yeah. But I'd be surprised if they. I think they don't care if you get rid of your old stock. I don't think that's what they're worried about. I just think they don't want you to publish anything new. I bet you they don't come down on anybody selling old stuff. I bet you that they're fine with that. Just get rid of your old shit. We don't care as long as you get rid of it for the next, by the next year, because this whole, like you said, Eric, this year is a transition year. But I bet you they really don't want you to publish anything new. I bet you that's where they're.
You know what? You're probably right. That still sucks. Gary, this was an amazingly.
Thank you, Gary. We love you.
And that
Thanks
was
for having me.
Your skeleton sidekick. So
yeah.
I mean,
oh yeah, Gary. Next time, bring
Carl. I could have brought Carl. Yeah. But thanks for having me. Like I said, I just want everybody to be as excited about North Texas this year as we are, and looking forward to it.
I'm really excited. I am actually. Gary can testify this. I'm actually excited about this year. Yeah. We both are. Yeah. We're both pumped because we're like, damn, this is gonna be awesome. And now with the OGL stuff, it's even gonna be better because it's gonna be family coming together in a time of crisis and all celebrating the fact that we love old school games and we're gonna be drinking a lot and partying. So
and North Texas will be like the rally point for these people to get together and commiserate and anyway, we're looking forward to it, and I've said this 1,000 times. North Texas is like a family reunion, but it's like a fun family reunion.
Except you still have the drunken uncle, Bad Mike, laying on the couch and
exactly. Yeah, put your pants on, Bob.
North Texas is my home away from home. Rachel never let me miss. We missed in COVID year, but then again, I had 3 hospitalizations. COVID year.
You almost died. We're going to give you a pass.
Give me a pass. But, it's an amazing experience. Once you go, you're going to be hooked. Trust me.
Well, and I want to thank everybody who showed up in chat to support my appearance on this show.
Yeah, thanks for
we had some Gary, they love you.
I can't believe James Raggy showed up to and that was awesome. And we had some few people I haven't seen in a while, and we had some of the usuals. So we really appreciate you guys supporting us. And look, this is going to be like we said, this is going to be the story of the year. We're going to be talking about this a lot. So hopefully you won't get bored of it and we can talk about it. What do you got going this week, Eric? Friday you have
Friday the Random Party Generator.
Random Party. Oh, that's going to be lit. That's going to be lit.
We would have invited you for the special we had on Sunday.
I couldn't talk about things then.
I
can talk now though.
I didn't invite you.
I couldn't talk about things then, but I've been given permission. I can talk about things now.
But they're already chomping at the bit for Friday.
And that was a great show, by the way. That was a 3-hour long show. It was great. Yeah, you guys did a great job. But I can talk about things now, so I might try to pop in if I can.
Just ping me and we'll bring you into the show. Always a good guest.
Well, thanks for having me, guys. This was really fun, and I appreciate it. Yeah, no problem.
We'll see you again next year. We'll have you on again next year.
Maybe before then.
But if again, reach out. you know how to get Facebook, whatever. Find us if you have questions. But we're here to help. We want to get you signed up. So,
and if you can't find Mike or Gary, find me. I'll pass it on. I'll make the connections. I'm happy to do so. Huge thank you to all the new subscribers. God bless you. Sometimes I wonder why you're here, but apparently I'm entertaining enough. Other than that, when we hit 2,500, we have money to give away. Drive-through money. Maybe there would actually be something left to buy at that point.
Oh God, that's right. Oh no, we're gonna.
I wanted to buy my old school.
How about maybe we should switch it to Denny's coupons? You know, Denny's.
No, Denny's coupons. I don't want to get sued.
Oh,
right? Not to Denny's by North Texas, that's for sure.
Oh,
yeah. We're not going to go down that route. Been there already. But again, huge thank you to all the new subscribers, folks. We do live streams Wednesdays, Fridays, Saturdays. Saturdays is Gamers Health, my wife and myself, and Fridays is it all takes between a random party generator and myself and old man Grognard Glenn Hellstrom, and of course Bed Mike every Wednesday.
Every once in a while, I'll pop in on Fridays to
yes, Mike is a special guest.
If I get upset by something Rob Conley says, I have to jump in real quick.
Oh, that's yeah. Oh God, Rob. By the way, Rob messaged me during the live stream. He was in the live stream and then messaged me during it.
Okay.
All right, folks. As usual, be safe, be well. God bless. Roll those dice. Roll them well. I'll be back. I don't know, probably shortly after midnight with the Frog God update. And then,
you guys still got to work. See you later.
There's no rest for the wicked.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah, later, everybody. Thanks for showing up. Subscribe, please. Thank you.